Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 13 Card Subject Change. We are day 2 out of 3 on WrestleMania weekend.
Oh,
and we have a
yeah.
special guest today.
Yes, we do.
My buddy Billy Lamoureux is here. Billy, how are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Doing all right. So, Billy, we've had your brother on. He kind of owes me a little bit of a debt because he said we'd never get you on here, which, according to you, he's been giving you shit for this for a while.
Well, weirder things have happened.
I mean, that is true.
But I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. So, Billy, as we always do to new people on the show, where did you get into wrestling? When did that come into your life, and what was that like when you first started watching?
Well, I think when I first started watching, it was way back in the 90s. They were still doing In Your House.
Yep, okay.
It was when Triple H was old Hunter Hearst Helmsley, came back to that corny-ass music he came out, had those
Yeah.
not-so-great pants, and...
Those were tight. I mean, you want to talk about tight pants. Holy shit, that gimmick was...
Him and Dwight Yoakam, two of the
Holy
tightest pants ever.
Yeah, right? All right, well, so you've been out of the loop of wrestling for a little bit the last couple of years, but you've kept up with your boy Otis.
Yeah, of course.
Which you know him by a different name, obviously.
Yep,
but,
I graduated with him back in 2010, but of course his name is Nico, so that's how I knew him. And
he has certainly endeared himself to wrestling fans since... he got a lot of hate when he first started in Heavy Machinery, mostly because he was weird, but like in a funny way, which everybody, again, it's cool to hate the good guys these days, but like I can see why WWE kept him because he is just an entertaining son of a bitch.
And the thing about him is what you see on TV is exactly who he is and what he's all about.
See,
my friend June met him at a bar when he was up here last. He stopped into Builders, I think, for a beer, and she met him, and he was exactly like he was on TV. No one said anything different. Everyone has said everything about Otis on WWE is basically who he's been almost his entire life.
Yeah, all his mannerisms, the way he talks, holds himself is exactly how he was all through high school and everything.
If other people don't like it, is they don't understand. We're used to it because he's just acting like he's us.
Yeah, actually,
that's about it. He's
Wisconsin,
like, he's normal. What are you talking about?
So I mean, we obviously asked a bunch of questions with Jimmy, but just like, what was it like for him to get the opportunity? Because I mean, were you guys still talking to him a bunch when he got the opportunity to go to Florida and actually train with them?
No, because at the time he was doing his national wrestling with, I believe, somewhere in Colorado.
Yep.
So he was out of town.
I found some
for
really
quite a bit.
grainy footage of that, but it's not great to watch.
No.
But yeah, it looked like it was just in someone's basement, but it was a very small promotion.
Right, and he was doing great through all that, I guess. And then I heard he was going to Florida, so I was nothing but like high hopes for him. Like, we all knew he was going to do it. He was talking about it all through school, and it was what he was going to do.
And I mean, the one thing that we've proven, especially last night at WrestleMania, which we'll get into here in a little bit, when Gable Stevenson came out, they really like guys who really made a big amateur wrestling scene breakout. I mean, they're really in touch with a lot of the Greco-Roman amateur wrestlers.
Well, and that was the thing with Otis, is he was going for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't make it or whatever, but look where it ended him up. Like,
I mean,
couldn't be bigger.
Yeah, no, and what's so unique is I've heard a lot of flack from people that have known him that when he shaved the beard, I'm sure a lot of people were just looking at him like, what the hell is this? But I mean, it's worked out for him. He's easily right now one of the most hated guys on the roster, which is great. Whether people hate him for good reasons or bad reasons, it's like he's doing his job.
Right. Me personally, I adored the beard. Like, it makes him look bigger, fiercer. But the whole baby face thing, like, I get what they're doing, but it's just odd to see him like that.
So, did you guys ever? I mean, like, obviously he talked about doing this all throughout, his time up here. But like, was there a moment where you guys were like, he's gonna end up doing his shtick in a Snickers commercial?
No, not at all.
I mean, like, everyone, Miz talked about it when he was on Real World. Everybody has the dream of going to the WWE, but how many guys get to be so entertaining that they get in a national commercial for a candy bar that's in every store in America?
Exactly. Like, I thought it would just be the wrestling thing, and he'd go win some championships, make a good career out of himself, make his money, and
just be sort of like a guy that, like, they have as a good worker, but never really a star kind of person. And
Right.
and
I wouldn't expect him to be in a Snickers commercial or anything like that to where millions of eyes are going to be on him and everybody's going to see it.
yeah,
Like,
well, okay, so I have officially seen him live twice, going to WWE events with Allison, and he gets a very lukewarm reaction, but I think a lot of people in the cities don't know that he's. I mean, like they know. I mean, the story's out there on the internet. I mean, they know he's from the area, but like I don't think they realize how Midwestern he actually is.
oh, yeah.
And so I think there's like not a lot of hometowns. Plus he was playing a bad guy both. I think it was both times, and just I mean like what I think is so hilarious, Leroy. You and I watched him with Heavy Machinery.
Oh, yeah.
It was good. It was fun. Tucky was a great guy. When they broke him up, nobody really got it because I think they had just started to come up. But to take him, put him in another tag team with Gable, and then just create what I think has been one of the funniest acts that they've had. I mean, for God's sakes, they go from being this sort of babyface act where Bianca lifts Otis with no issue at all and walks like a good 15 feet with him on her shoulders. And then all of a sudden, they're doing this knowledge bowl thing. There's a scooter race that I don't care who you are. Otis comes off, and I'm sure he was like this when you guys had him in high school. He's just, without even really trying, you can't help but focus on him whenever he's just doing his stuff, because it was just one of those things where it's like, I'm watching Gable and Riddle do this scooter race, which was supposedly 500 laps or something like that. It was 100 and some laps. But every single time we watch them go through, Otis is just running after him, and he's somewhere in the thing, and it's just, I mean, he's such a magnet personality that, like, I understand why a guy like Vince, who's always been entertainer over wrestling promoter, would just look at this guy and be like, I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but I'm going to give him something, and he's going to knock it out of the park.
And that's the thing with him. Like, he's got this massive aura around him that just radiates energy, and he's not afraid to do anything.
Yeah, well,
Like, if you give him something to do, he'll do it to the best of his abilities.
Yeah.
And most of the time, he crushes it.
Oh, I mean,
Like, I think he's an all-star. Like, he's just perfect for that.
He's a guy that I don't think is going to go anywhere in WWE in terms of like getting cut for a very long time, because like I said, he's one of these guys that I always say there are guys that are Vince type guys, and a lot of the times it's guys who, okay, they can work, they don't hurt anybody in the ring, they're gentle giant type people, but they have the ability to adapt to whatever he gives them. And I don't know if this is true about Nico, but it seems like he's one of those rare guys that, like you said, he'll do anything, but like he doesn't care if he looks stupid, he doesn't care if he looks like a fool. He kind of just says, okay, this is what you gave me, let's just go with it, type of deal.
Well, that, and he's working his dream job. Like,
Yeah.
how bad can it really be?
And that's
Like, you're gonna make somebody laugh,
and
or
that's
you're
where the
gonna get
Midwest
some
comes out
kind
in
of
him is-
reaction out of somebody. Like,
yeah, and that's where the Midwest comes out in him, where it's just like, okay, I didn't go to California. I didn't come from Florida. I was kind of a nationally known person to a point, like you said, Olympic trials, but never actually an Olympian. And just, he's like, it can't get worse for me right now. But
Exactly.
I mean, like, how does it get better than traveling the world, getting to see all these places, first class type treatment? And he took Shush, and it's on a T-shirt, and people are doing it all the time. He's an absolute joy to watch, and he's really won over a lot of the internet people to be like, okay, I'm still not seeing him as a world champion, but the guy clearly is entertaining. He's on my screen, and I'm not hating on him that much anymore. I mean, he's definitely brought a lot of people to his side of, he's just entertaining, and
Right.
and that's what you kind of have to be.
and I think they've been doing great with his tag teams.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Heavy Machinery, him and Tucker worked well together.
Yeah.
Him and Gable,
yeah.
He just fits with people. Like, he's not too big to where it's like a brothers of, like, Kane and Undertaker.
Yeah.
It's not like a massive tag team like
No.
that, or it's not like too cool where it's like two smaller guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And either a relatively bigger guy
Mm-hmm.
or somebody who's smaller and complements him well. Either way, he's going to work well with
And
him.
he seems like one of these guys that, even though he's stronger than a fucking ox,
Oh, yeah.
he's probably not hurting anybody with those moves. I mean, was he one of those guys that was aware of his own strength, Or is he one of those people that just like all of a sudden he forgot he could throw someone? You were a center in semi-pro football, and he could probably still throw you like you're a lawn
of
dart.
course. I have no doubt in my mind
Right.
that he would do that. Like, before wrestling practice,
Yeah.
we'd just be horsing around.
Mm-hmm.
He would just whip us like rag dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would wrestle heavyweight, so 285.
Yeah. Okay.
He was always roughly 290.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my brother were 150, 160.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. So you
He
guys
almost
were,
doubled our size.
Yeah. Yeah. Combined basically.
Yeah, he would just shake our hand,
Mm-hmm.
and you were shaking a bear's paw.
Yeah.
Like, his hands
He's
are...
a big boy.
They're not
He is.
big hands, but they got a lot of girth to them.
I got to bring you
Yes.
on when we get Cal back because so our buddy Cal Anders, we've had him on the show before. He has almost and we laugh about this all the time. It's almost getting to levels of creepy shrine to Otis. He's got he's got all of his cards, every action figure, pictures. He's got every action figure that Otis has had. And they're all still in the box, pristine. He loves Otis. Truly is a gigantic Otis fan. And Cal's also like Otis earlier. He's got a giant beard down to his, belly button and everything, and it's great. But I got to have you on because Cal is just the biggest Otis fan. Every time he gets a new Otis action figure, he sends me a photo of it. I got like 60 photos of just every picture that he's got.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be worth something one day.
He has.
I think so.
Yeah. Now, okay, I didn't get to say this with Jimmy because it was so early on. He is on a WrestleMania card tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, he
where
is.
Brock Lesnar's on, Stone Cold was on the night before, in arguably the world's, most famous arena nowadays. He's going to be front and center in a fairly prominent match.
What?
I mean, that's got to exceed.
He's in the same match with Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, Matt Riddle, the Street Profits, some of the most well-known stars.
And he
of
was
today.
successful to actually get an RKO on him, even though his neck is kind of not there.
Oh, God. The running jokes with
Oh.
Randy unable to RKO Otis because there was no neck, that was the funniest shit coming out of commentary. I have to ask you this because Allison really gets annoyed when Corey makes the fat jokes. I doubt Otis cares. I feel like Otis is like, that's just part of the game. Corey's obviously the heel commentator. He's supposed to make those jokes.
But he's not even really that fat. Like,
No,
he's
yeah.
just short, so it looks like he's fatter.
Right, yeah.
Like, he's 5'11".
Right.
That's
maybe.
the only bad part. As my mom says, she has a little weight on her. She says, I'm not short. They just made the sidewalks too close to my ass,
Yeah.
which unfortunately makes you look a little bigger than you are.
But yeah, but it's like I feel like he's not one of those people that like because I mean there were matches back when he was in Heavy Machinery. Otis was every other thing out of Corey's mouth was like some kind of fat joke. Now they were really actually funny, but I doubt that's something that like Nico goes back and says, hey,
No.
that's a problem because he gets the show. And like you said, dream job at this point, whatever keeps me
Right, and if you
doing
look
this.
look back at some of the wrestlers that have been on TV, like, he's not really fat compared to him. Like,
Right, yeah.
Rikishi, Yokozuna,
Yeah.
Vader, like,
yeah.
And Dusty Rhodes. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
Dusty
no.
Rhodes was not the most.
Oh, Dusty
fit
was never
person.
a bodybuilder. Dusty was
No.
never a bodybuilder.
Right.
They gave him polka dots, and he said, "All right, I'm fat.
I'm
I
gonna
got
roll
polka
with.
dots."
Well, I'm gonna roll this thing. Screw you.
Yeah,
and I doubt any of them could probably squat close to 1,000 pounds like
Well,
I'm
that-
sure Nico could.
well, yeah, well, and that's just it. Is like what really got him noticed by the internet audience was they started posting his workout videos before he was even in Heavy Machinery, and he was just doing things that like the Performance Center had never seen.
Well,
I
in
mean-
high school, he would squat and the bar
Yeah,
would be bending.
yeah.
Like, how do we even spot somebody like that? Like,
The
What are
three-
we? What are we?
Three or
supposed to
four
do?
guys.
The
Yeah,
entire
like,
wrestling team.
You
needs
want us to
split it.
catch this as it falls, or like, what the hell do you want us to do? Like, it's gonna kill us if it falls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, he falls into that country strong like Brock.
Oh yeah, he's.
I mean, totally.
Yeah, I'm sure those two could go toe for toe in a workout.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, well, because Brock has said 1,000 times, and he said it back when he was in the UFC. He's not really gonna get stronger. That's not really something that can happen. But because it's such a country build, it's pretty much always gonna be there. I mean, I feel like Nico's body doesn't know what it means to not be in shape and just strong, and like he could stop lifting weights tomorrow, and he'd probably still have that strength for probably a good 10 years.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I couldn't see his body changing at all. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna stay how it is. Like, arms aren't gonna get smaller.
No.
legs aren't going to get smaller.
But
Still not going to have a neck. Like,
but
Yep.
but that's the crazy thing, Leroy, is like he is in what I think has a potential to be just one of the most phenomenal matches on night 2.
Oh.
And I mean, Billy, for you guys, like I said, I mean, I know you talked about it was a dream come true, but like this probably has to surpass anything he talked about in high school, being like, dude, you're on one of 38 different shows that have happened in the history of the biggest company in all of professional wrestling.
oh, I'm sure he's had this marked on his calendar for a while. Like,
Oh,
I have no doubt that he's going to go out there, have a ball, and just
Because
do his
Vince-
best to steal the show.
Well,
It's mania moment.
Well,
you
because
know?
Vince always works backwards. He pretty much
Yes.
writes the WrestleMania card after the previous WrestleMania, and then he says, okay, now we got to make like 11 and a half months worth of content to sort of figure out how are we going to get to this point. So it's not so much that he works backwards, it's he writes backwards and then works towards what he writes. So obviously Vince,
It works.
well, and like I said, people have to understand, he clearly has the eye of the only person that matters, which is Vince McMahon.
right.
Because everything still goes through Vince. Every match is signed off by him. Everyone's TV time is dependent upon Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr. And Otis is one of those guys that, regardless of how much the internet hated on him early on, regardless of how much people were like, what is this? What is that? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that he's kind of over the top. He's still on television.
But that's the thing,
Yeah.
though. They're still talking about him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, whether it be negative, positive,
He is
questions.
he is proof positive. If you don't want someone, don't say anything.
Right.
Because the more you talk about him, Vince is going to shove him down your throat. And I love it because he's been in so many different roles. And what? Okay, because like, all right, so he's been on television. Heavy Machinery came up 2-3 years ago. At this point.
Yeah, it was before we started the podcast. They were in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and that's
no.
been a couple of years.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
I look at that and I say to myself, he came up, Tucky got released because I think they just lost interest in what he was able. Big guy could work, but you're in Vince's company. You got to be entertaining. I'm sorry, folks. That's the way it works.
Well,
And-
yeah, they split him up after when they went with the storyline with Mandy.
Yeah.
Lucky boy.
Ah,
Oh my God.
he-
oh, some of the videos I was seeing, I'm like, he
This
likes that right there.
Oh God!
Like-
I don't blame him. I'm a good boy. It's like, God damn, I got this
Allison-
hot blonde with me. Yeah.
Allison got into the storyline in that girly way of just like, this is the cutest love story on
Oh, yeah.
television, and just everybody was into it. When they broke him up, everybody was like I don't think people realize he actually captivated us for a good 6-month period.
You know,
with a blonde that at the time really no one cared about, and we started to care more about Mandy because of Otis. I don't think people actually realize that.
you know,
which
what
is
was my
great.
favorite spot that they did. It was great.
Which one was that?
It was the pool.
Oh,
when he cannonballed in the pool and splashed. I'm like, I would do that.
Oh my god!
And that's the thing. Like, he's like an everyday person from around here. Like a guy you'd see at Super One or a guy you'd see at the corner store. Like,
Or a quick trip.
Yeah.
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 You need to look up his ride along when he was still working with Mandy. They
Oh God.
did
That
the
was awesome.
they did the horse-drawn carriage in New York City, and he's
It was
just
so good.
he's over the top, but there's nothing fake about it, and that's what you and Jimmy and everyone keeps confirming is just, this is him. I don't think he knows how to play a character. This is not a character. This is
is
just
Otis.
Nico.
And he's gonna play all his characters like himself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and
What?
you know,
Isn't who said that too? There was a wrestler that said that if you can't be yourself on TV, it's really you can't be
Oh, a bunch-
likable. I mean,
a bunch
and
of
that's
people
so
come out
true.
and
If
said
you
that, yeah.
if you don't have some of yourself in there, you know what? Nobody's gonna like you. You're not gonna make it, and
Yeah.
you're gonna suck.
yeah, he's literally the same guy with a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah. and what I think is funny is this is probably how it went, because this is how it always goes. He probably got to the Performance Center. They looked at him, saw this Gimli dwarf-looking dude from like Lord of the Rings, and they're like, okay, what's a name we can give him? And Otis comes out. And I think he had a name before they cut it just to Otis that was a little bit Russian, kind of like his actual last name.
Wasn't it like Otis Dozovich or
Yeah,
something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so basically he came in with the whole Dozer thing, and they kind of ran with that, and then they shortened it to Otis because it was that time when Vince is like, I only like first names. No one has a last name. We don't.
Right.
No one
that's
has
not
a last
really
name.
a catchy last name that's gonna
No, but
pop out on a T-shirt or anything.
right, but yet he has his own shirt where it's just shush, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah, can't beat simplicity.
something tells me that was probably one of those moments where he just did it one time, and they were like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but we got to do this again and just see where it goes. And now Gable's doing it to every person.
Yeah,
it's just hilarious.
Yeah, Otis.
I think he actually misspelled a word during the spelling bee they had, and it was like a misstep. I think he actually forgot how to spell the word. So that was...
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Like, he had to wear different color armbands during football so you know which way to go. Like,
okay, yeah.
He's not a rocket scientist by any means, but if you tell him to go put on a show, like, you're gonna get one hell of a show.
I mean, you know,
you can't win them all.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like he's worth talking about because again, we are going into Mania Night 2. It's in Dallas, Texas. It's Jerry's house, and the man is going to be featured for arguably 15 to 20 minutes on that show.
And it's so much fun when you Google Otis and you get his Wikipedia, and it says born Duluth, Minnesota. Oh my God!
One of these days,
I love it.
One of these days, I want to see if we can't get you and Jimmy to come in, or just you or him, and I want to do a Wikipedia fact or fiction on that page, and I just want to be like, okay, what of this have the fans completely just fucking made up, and what's legit? And I want to see if we can get some of that stuff out. But
I mean, that would be fun to do.
but like I said,
he even know how much I know.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he is.
No, they don't have much on here.
He's still fairly
fact.
Yeah,
yeah,
perfect. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy. Vince ain't getting rid of him for a long time because again, you know, I've said this since the show started. With Vince especially, you really have to be a guy that just goes with the flow, and whatever the 70-year-old kook wants, just take it and be like, okay, do I have to do it to a T, or can I work a little bit within some parameters? And again, I still feel like, and again, I don't know, I would love to get Nico's actual perspective on it, but I feel like shush was just, he said shush, and they were like, I don't know why, but we're just going to do that again. And somehow it's just gonna work. And what I think is so hilarious is you go back to he's just an everyday guy and everything seems so natural. You watch the Snickers commercial, like the timing that Otis has on the sandcastle line and all the other stuff. I don't think they had to do much editing. I feel like Gable just said the line and Otis was just, I got it. Just say it.
Oh, I'd believe that 100%. Like, stuff like that just comes naturally. It's like he's just talking. It's like the cameras aren't even on him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like for a guy who you know comes from where we come from and goes to the big city lights, he's never really looking at the camera unless he's supposed to. He's not really, you know, for such a big guy, he's so fluid. Seems like he's getting to the spots they want him to get to, even though the cameras will take you out of it with Sullivan back there being like, I need 7 different camera angles in 35 seconds. And I'm like, please don't do this again. My eyes can't take it.
Yeah.
But, all right, we will get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, night 1, holy
yes.
bleep was that good.
Bleep? Holy shit.
Are we past a minute?
The fuck we are.
Holy shit, it was great.
We're quite a bit past the minute.
We can drop the F-bomb, which I just did.
Holy
Sorry,
shit.
Mom.
Before we get to that, though, Leroy, you have the results from Stand and Deliver,
yes,
which I did actually go back and watch directly after the show. So I was able to watch Stand and Deliver directly into
I didn't
Mania.
catch it, and I was unlucky enough I did not
Stand
catch
and Deliver
all of it.
So NXT is no longer the Triple H type indie promotion. It's now
2.0.
called 2.0, which, by the way,
it's
with their fancy new logo and everything.
Yeah,
it's
by the
awesome.
Way, by the way, it's actually a lot of fun to watch. You can just lose yourself in it. I mean, you got a dude running around as a New York Italian. It's great. He's got a crowbar. He's burying people. You know, he's eating pasta. It's great. You know, it's
his name is Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D. Yeah. No,
you can't get any more Italian than that.
Nope,
no, you can't.
Nope. And what I think helped was he's got a American flag and Italian flag tattoo on one of his arms. So he probably walked in. They were like, "Okay, you're gonna be an Italian. Sorry, it just fits. We're gonna do this. Put on the wife beater, and we'll just figure out where we go from there."
Yeah. Then we get the Chase U University and.
Oh my God, Chase U. They were at Stand and Deliver.
I did see that. Yes, I did see that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
It's great. They're a fake college, which you just literally go to YouTube, type in Chase U. It was something that Jesse hated at the beginning.
And now Jesse
And
loves
now
it.
he is so into it because, much like Otis, Chase Young is, I think it's Chase Young is his full name.
I believe so, yes.
Chase is just, he's all about this gimmick. He's like, this is a teachable moment. There's fake college classes that they're doing, and it's so much fun. They have their own cheering section, which I think they just, I think people just show up to the show and they're like, okay, you're sitting here, put the shirt on. It's basically all it is.
I'd be like,
yeah,
I'll do it.
But no,
I wouldn't even hesitate. I'll do it.
But it's like, it's so much fun to watch. But anyway, so they had Stand and Deliver. It's kind of their WrestleMania. It's the second ever one because last year they had the first one, which Allison was disappointed there was no Finn Balor this year. But I mean,
Well,
she can't get Finn every night.
she wishes.
She does.
You need to be like, Zach, get over here.
Oh yeah.
I need Finn.
Oh, it's hilarious. Every time Sheamus or Finn or even Becky's music hits, it's like you can't get her to get off the phone for the rest of the show, but the phone's down, face down. She doesn't care about it. And it's like, just watch the Irish people walk in. It's hilarious.
So I have a question. What is this heat that like people don't like when stars get sent back to NXT? Like they got demoted or something?
Okay. So to bring you up to speed with a few things we're gonna have to talk about
I don't
today.
think
on the
nobody
show.
gets sent back.
All
The only
elite wrestling is now a thing, and
Mandy got set back.
Yeah,
That's it.
They quote unquote were going head to head with the original NXT, and you know as well as I do when in sports, the newer hype is what everybody wants. So NXT was beating AEW in ratings on the big shows, the night when the money was on the table. But Dynamite was beating NXT in ratings head-to-head because, everybody was like, okay, we hate what Vince is doing. This is NXT, even though Triple H is running it and all of our former indie stars are there. We're going to watch this because Vince is running it, blah, blah, blah. And now there's this weird idea that they thought NXT was failing, which in the way that they thought it was failing, it was, but in the way that everyone thought they thought it was, it wasn't. Basically, to explain, everyone's like, well, they lost the ratings, so Vince blew it up. No, he blew it up because he wasn't getting stars from it.
Yeah.
He blew it up because guys were coming up, as Randy Orton recently said on WrestleMania Access, they were coming up, and they didn't know what they were doing for what Vince needs on Raw and SmackDown. And sorry, folks, it was always a developmental place. You call somebody up from the minors or you call someone up from the G League and they're not ready to play basketball or baseball, what were they doing down there? What was the point?
Right.
So it's like every team has a different idea of what they want. Certain baseball teams are all about home runs. They want the power guy to come up. Some teams need a defensive guy. Can you play defense? No, I can hit. Well, then you're not coming up. It is what it is. Well, Vince decided to blow it up. He decided to get rid of all the people that were there. Not necessarily the wrestlers, but, some of the wrestlers left. But, that happens. Contracts were up.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah. William Regal, Scotty 2 Hotty, they all got cut, mostly because I think Vince wanted a new regime. And, the Packers recently, as you were all decked out in Packer garb, they recently realized, okay, we need a new front office, basically. That's why Turner had to, that's why Thompson had to go. That's why all the guys had to go. You can't keep the same people around, although the Packers always do, which might be part of their problem, is that they never really fire anyone. Because Ted Thompson's still there. He's just in a different office. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird because you got, is it Gutekunst or whatever?
Yeah.
Gutekunst is just down the hall in the old office. And it's weird, and that's why I think the Packers need to get out of the old school family mentality, but that's a story for a different day. But anyway, no, so William Regal goes. He's in AEW, doing a good job.
Well, he'd do a good job.
Scotty 2 Hotty recently is back to being Scotty 2 Hotty on the Indies, which is great because it's Scotty 2 Hotty. And he brings in these new people. It's a new regime. It's a new idea. It's a little more entertaining, whereas Triple H was more sport-based.
But we still got Shawn Michaels down there, too.
But Shawn Michaels is still down there running it. So, I mean, you've got these great... And Shawn Michaels is arguably the greatest Vince-type guy that ever existed.
Yes.
I mean, he was the perfect entertainer and... in-ring wrestler that you ever saw. But basically, the heat that you're asking about is Dolph goes back, and they all think, well, the ratings suck, so we need to send these guys. Okay, first of all, First of all,
AJ went back first.
yeah. No,
And Finn Balor's been there too.
Well, he was back there
multiple times.
he was back in the original
Black
NXT.
and gold. He was back down
and
there
not
to sort
part
of
of the
rework
2.0.
himself back to a main event. Because here's the deal. Again, I don't think Vince has ever lost interest in Finn Balor. I just think Finn's been getting hurt, and it's hard to keep an interest in somebody. Look, love Finn. I think even Jesse would sit there and be like, he ain't Shawn Michaels. It's really hard to be Shawn Michaels.
No, yeah, it
You
is.
hold on to Shawn Michaels for 4.5 years. There's a reason you hold on to him for 4.5
Yeah.
years.
So yeah, this started with AJ going back because he was
He was basically down there to
a Twitter attack on him. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it was on Twitter
Oh yeah,
with,
Grayson Waller
Grayson
comes
Waller.
out, beats up Johnny Gargano, the heart and soul of the original NXT. Immediately becomes the biggest heel in the company because he didn't just beat up Johnny Gargano, he beat the
oh my
fuck
God.
out of Johnny Gargano.
Holy shit.
Johnny Gargano's sitting there, he's crying these tears like, I'm leaving NXT, I love you guys. His pregnant wife is there, and Grayson Waller says, fuck it, I'm just going to make a name for myself and beat the shit out of you, and he beat him down like he stole something.
I know. I'm sitting there watching going, oh my God.
So what do you do with him? You put him in a Twitter beef with AJ Styles, and now all of a sudden you've got AJ Styles in NXT. Now remember, AJ didn't go to NXT when he first got to WWE. Everyone thought he would, but basically AJ told the story. I got the TV, and it wasn't NXT where they were doing tapings at the time, where it was okay, you hit your spot at the wrong time, go back and redo it, this and that. It was, welcome to a live television camera. Hit this spot at this point, hit this spot at that point. You miss it. Well, fuck, you just messed up on live television. And AJ did great. Vince has loved him ever since. It's weird. He's actually almost had a longer career in WWE than he had in TNA, which is really weird to think about because TNA was AJ Styles and all that. But
for so many years.
yeah, and Dixie Carter decided to ruin that. That's
whatever.
Jesse's going to have that rant one day, and I'm just going to take the mic and be like,
that's about it. I'm gonna set my headphones down so I can
Jesse can
save
go for
my
3
ears.
hours on douchebag, Dixie Carter. It's
yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
But yeah, first it was AJ, and then Dolph.
And then
next.
Yeah, and then Dolph comes down, and everyone's like, well, they hate the ratings. Okay, a couple things you have to realize. It's developmental, number one. And WWE always admitted that. That was the thing. People don't get that everyone hates Vince for quote-unquote killing the wrestling business. He never said he was a wrestling promoter. He bought the company from his dad. His dad would have never sold it to him if he knew what he was going to do. That story's documented.
Yes.
But Vince has said from day one, we're not a wrestling company, we're an entertainment company.
Well, and it's in their name too. Like
Yeah,
World
exactly.
Wrestling Entertainment.
They got the F out.
They got the F
basically.
out.
Yeah, so
See, and I grew up on the WWF.
what I don't understand is that
And now
all these
E.
wrestling fans, first of all, y'all are still watching. We'll get into that a little bit later because there's some funny stories about that. But you're all still watching. But WWE, first of all, gets 2 hours of television on a Tuesday night on USA. The fuck is USA doing anymore? They have no original shows. They're no longer the number one network on cable.
well,
Nobody
they still might be
cared.
running it Law and Order, but
Well,
I think that's
but they're all reruns.
all they got going.
That's
for
Yeah.
Law and Order is going to be going till after I'm dead.
yeah, pretty much.
And I've been here a while.
yeah, but
I
that's
mean, USA is Law and Order and WWE.
yeah.
like,
Well, that's just it. It's like, well, first
Oh,
of all,
and the dog show every once in a while. I
Ah,
think.
yeah,
Don't they put
no.
that on there?
Westminster Dog Show.
Westminster Dog Show, yeah,
Which
once
Allison
a year.
loves just because it's just dogs for as far as the eye can see.
That's USA's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But basically, to answer your question, the heat is okay. The ratings suck. Bring in the stars. They don't care about the ratings on NXT.
No.
It's developmental. Number one. Number two. USA is gonna look at WWE and say we're pissed off about ratings. You just point out they're one of the three things that are on USA that anybody watches. The fact that anybody watches USA at all is probably because of the WWE.
When they first started at NXT, they had a lot of main event wrestlers down there with their coaching and stuff like that.
Well, that's the other thing is that everybody.
So it started that way, and
Everybody
then it
wants
went
to
away
be the
from
smart wrestling Mark, who's just like, oh, the old NXT was better. Well, you were never watching. That's why Vince got rid of it. Number one. Then 2.0 comes along, and Vince is like, okay, we're going to turn it back into what it used to be when it was on the network, which was an hour-long show of. It was taped. People don't realize they taped and they edited the show. Some of the people that were down there, some of the biggest stars on the main roster right now, they had to redo their interviews 3-4 times because it was like, it sucked. Do it again. But to answer your question, I actually don't know where the heat's coming from because everybody wants to be the smart wrestling fan that wants to ignore that this is what NXT was before it was put on television. And remember, on the network, they got away with a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of shit they got away with because they were on their own network. But once you go to network television, now you have to abide by the FCC.
See,
So the heat, I actually can't answer because I don't understand it, because I have to look at people and be like, okay, what's changed from what it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago? You're just mad that Vince is doing something at all. That's literally what it is. You're like, oh, he pushed Triple H out. Triple H had a heart attack.
yeah.
For Christ's sake. The man retired from the fucking in-ring competition on an interview with Stephen A. Smith. Not exactly how Triple H thought he was going out.
No.
But no, I don't understand the heat. It doesn't make any sense. All these people just want to be the hater for no reason. And what I think is funny is NXT now is only about 300,000 people less than Dynamite.
Yeah.
And it's not head-to-head competition. It's separate nights. And Dynamite, Billy, you probably don't know this, but AEW has yet to hit 1 million people 4 weeks in a row. They've never done it in the history of the 3 or 4 years the company's been on television.
Yeah, they have not.
And yet I get told every week, look at the ratings, and I'm like, yeah, Raw's doing 1.7 million a week. SmackDown averages 2.1. AEW averages 850.
No,
I'm supposed
Quite
to
a drop.
You think?
No, and who's
think?
telling you keep look at ratings? Did you remind him? Hey, I got a podcast about wrestling. You think I look at the ratings?
See, what's funny is everyone always stops me on social media and says, "Well, you're not watching." Sadly, I am. Okay. Sadly, I'm watching the guy with no legs on pay-per-view fight the guy with the baby oil, who's now a personal assistant to Kenny Omega. That's actually real life. That was the only way that they could get him into the country to wrestle was to be Kenny's personal assistant. Real story, not bullshitting you.
Yeah, it's sad.
The baby oil, the no-legged guy, the fat guy with the yellow face paint that has not been seen since that Battle Royal. The guy who puts his hands in his pockets is still on the show every week. I don't know why.
I don't understand that whole thing either.
And here's the deal. You'll understand it if you watch him with guys like Darren Corbin, because Darren Corbin worked his gimmick. Darren Corbin said, I'm going to work this shtick. The problem is they keep throwing him in the ring with guys who are like, well, I've got my own shtick. Let's do my shtick. All right, well, the guy puts his hands in his pockets. You got to work with that. Okay?
Yeah.
Keith Lee went from WWE television, where he was eventually going to be on WrestleManias with Roman and Brock and all that, to the guy with his hands in his pockets. Need I say more about the drop-off of Keith Lee?
Is he doing anything else?
As of right now, I don't think Keith Lee has officially had a direction since the ladder match where he lawn darted our boy Pockets 30 feet in the air.
Orange Julius almost got squeezed. All right, there we go.
He also launched him, and no one caught him, and he landed on the entranceway. So that was a
Proper
fun
landing.
Yeah, exactly,
It
right on the
was.
shoulder.
It was, yeah.
But by the way, even though he's in a sling and he's injured and he's hurt, still on TV. But I can't get Jay Lethal except in ROH Supercard of Honor.
Well, no, he's only got one hand in his pocket.
Well,
He's half.
He's the company.
He's half.
He's become the company mascot because the billionaire money Mark loves him, and I don't know why. It's actually been reported that Jim Ross in a meeting said to Tony Khan, "Why are we pushing Orange Cassidy? What is the deal with this guy?" And Tony Khan just goes, "He's got something." I'm like, okay.
I mean, who would listen to Jim Ross? Not like he's been around wrestling for 50 years.
Why would you listen to the greatest living announcer in the history of the business? I don't know.
All right.
Partially the reason why Jim just pretty much shows up for a paycheck and goes home. He's not even dressing for the event anymore. He's just in a freaking Hawaiian shirt all day. It's
I would do the same thing.
Look, here's the deal. I'm the last guy to care about looking professional. I don't care. But when you're presenting a giant thing on television, I would make the announcers look fairly good, whereas they just show a picture of Jim and he's in a cowboy hat and a t-shirt. And I'm just like, okay, he clearly doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yep.
But anyway,
all right. So we get into this card.
Let's get into this card for Stand and Deliver because
all right.
Holy shit, was this good!
There we
go. A lot of fun.
I said I got to catch the couple of the first ones.
Yeah,
I loved it. The lovely.
Do you have the pre-show match? Because that was the women's tag match.
Yes,
okay.
I got everything.
Okay,
yep,
perfect. Yeah.
Yep. It was a women NXT champ, and unfortunately for the girls, hey, Rosario Gonzalez and Dakota Kai are our new champions.
Toxic
Two-time
Attraction
champions
loses the
now.
tag titles. Lovely ladies can actually wrestle. You'll find this funny. Gigi Dolan used to be married to Darby Allin, who's in AEW. Her claim to fame, she was the tampon girl.
Wow.
She was the girl that took the supposed used tampon out during a match, put it in another girl's mouth, and then kicked her in the face. So I don't think WWE ever saw that footage, or they probably just don't want you to find that footage. They're probably
No, we don't.
Well,
but
let's just hope that's tucked away in a vault somewhere.
yes,
it is, but
deep in the internet.
she looks good, so who
Yeah,
cares?
Gigi looks great.
Woo.
Gigi looks great.
Damn.
But I know I loved this. Raquel and
They're a great
Dakota
they're
had
a great
nowhere to
pair.
go, and all of a sudden they were like, okay, the winners of the Women's Dusty Cup Tag Team Tournament are going to the main event because they cashed that in a different way. Now we need a quick tag team thing. Billy, you've watched a lot of wrestling, obviously, back in the day when the crowds were crazy. If the crowd loves it in the moment, don't you think that's kind of a success, theoretically?
Yeah, I would say so. Like,
Okay,
if they're
so-
getting that pop, you know,
Okay,
it's
okay,
a
so
sign.
everyone on the internet's like, oh, they did the Dusty Cup for no reason, and now they're throwing Raquel and Dakota back together after all this time. I'm like, yeah, but when it happened, the live audience lost their shit. So I don't know what the heck is wrong with everybody.
Well, I
acting
think
like
what
this is a bad
what
idea.
they did with the Dusty Cup, I thought that was very interesting.
It threw everyone for a loop.
And you know,
And the women's main event match was
there we go.
straight fire. It was
There
great.
we go. Yeah.
All right, so congratulations to Raquel and Dakota. Dakota still playing the crazy psychopath who has voices in her head. It's great.
That's all right.
And Raquel is
Raquel.
still
The
the
big
just
beast
a
that
big
would
beast of a woman who.
that would hurt all of us
Yep.
and wouldn't even break a sweat.
Yep. Well. Look who her boyfriend is.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. He's a big boy.
He's a big guy.
All right.
Braun Strowman, by the way, is her boyfriend.
yeah, it's a real tiny guy.
Yeah.
No.
Big boy from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprising.
Yeah. His father's His father's actually a Hall of Fame softball player.
There's a Hall of Fame for that,
Yes, there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
Hall of Fame
Oh, yeah.
for everything.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose.
He actually holds
I'm
the record
surprised
for-
we're not in a Hall of Fame
I
yet.
think yeah, right.
We're
I think-
working on that.
I think he holds the records for like the most home runs in beer league softball.
Well, I mean, if he's any size close to his kid, I could understand why.
yeah, he's a big boy.
If you find tape of Braun Strowman's dad, it's really weird. So he's actually bigger than Braun. He played third. He played the hot corner in softball. Like, I mean, he was
Yeah.
an athletic motherfucker. It's footage that you're watching and you're like, how is this not edited? I mean,
That's not.
I'm watching a dude the size of Braun Strowman play third base.
Looks like he's playing with children.
Yeah, basically.
No.
It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, the next matchup was the fatal five-way ladder match for the NXT North American Championship, and our lovely friend
Cameron Grimes, baby.
to the moon and got his belt.
He's a rich redneck.
I love that,
and
and we love.
and by the way,
He has a hair in the beard. I'm
and
just
by the
like,
way,
I love
and
it.
by the way, how did he get rich? WWE used the GameStop thing as the,
Yes.
as the reason he got rich. So
He's been rolling with. He ran with the $1 Million Man for a while. It was
it's
awesome.
It's been so hilarious.
And hopefully,
Grayson Waller's going to be out for a
did
while.
you see Grayson Waller that hit?
So
oh my
so,
lord!
Think Hardy Boys. The ladder is now set up between the barricade and the ring. Right, dude's laying on it. Dude, Grayson Waller climbs the 15-foot ladder, gets to the very top,
And jumps.
jumps. Carmelo Hayes, who's the guy on the ladder, his boy Trick Williams pulls him off. Grayson didn't go through the ladder. His arm did. He did not.
It didn't look good. Oh,
I can't imagine his arm feels wonderful today.
His whole
needless-
body probably feels horseshit.
Needless to say, I watched it in slow motion. His arm went in the ladder. Part of his arm came out of the ladder. Part of it stayed in the ladder. Part of it went back. It is the worst car crash to watch in slow motion.
And I have not seen anything about injury or anything on him at all this time. Have you seen anything?
I haven't seen anything, but here's the deal: if that man comes out of that with an okay arm, he's a fucking god because your arm is not supposed to
definitely.
do that many contortions without something getting broken or torn. It was painful, but he got his moment. It's cool. But yeah, the match was great. Cameron is phenomenal. And Cameron is basically your typical joke wrestler who can go. And he'll be a Vince guy for years as well because Vince will say, go be an idiot. And he'll be like, done. Just give me 15 minutes. It's great. I love Cameron Grimes. Absolutely love it. He's going to make this the funniest, stupidest thing in the world. And I love it.
Okay.
I just
How
can't
long?
wait.
How long do you think his reign's going to be going for?
Depends on if Vince starts watching and says, "I want this motherfucker on national TV.
I was like, why is he not on Raw? Yes, sir. We'll get him on Raw. Thank you. And then we're done.
I can't wait for Jesse tomorrow to be like, Jesse, you know this guy was an Impact, right? He goes, I know.
And he didn't talk.
And he was a mute caveman.
And he can talk.
And yet he's one of the funniest guys on the mic in all of professional wrestling.
That doesn't seem like a solid gimmick to begin with.
Yeah,
No.
you know.
And his gimmick in NXT is good. I can look at my son. I'm like, hey, guess who won the belt? He goes, what? I said, I give you one hit. And he goes, I go to the moon. He goes, Cameron Grimes. He knows exactly what I was talking about.
It's so good. All
and
right.
that's good.
But yes, it was a good ladder match.
It was.
I do think, and sadly, this is because I've spent so much time watching Scott Hall's old ladder match because sadly he passed away recently. They're starting to use the ladders too much.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for a match in which Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon were like, "Oh, we have a ladder, but we're still going to wrestle." So,
yeah.
I think you can use weapons a little too much in wrestling. And everyone's like, well, you love ECW. That wasn't too much weapons. Like, again,
it was used correctly.
Go back and actually watch. The highlights are the Dudleys throwing Tommy Dreamer 30 feet through a flaming table. That wasn't every show. It seemed like it, but it wasn't every show.
No.
All right.
The next is our good old Italian boy, Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D, baby.
Taking on Tommaso Ciampa.
Comes out with a dude
Gideon,
starring in the Netflix series. I think it's Law and Punishment or Crime
I think
and
so,
Punishment
yeah.
or something. So he comes out with a guy who's Italian playing an Italian in an Italian show, and he's playing an Italian. So there's a lot of Italian going. And they pull up in a vintage car.
Yes.
That is about as old
beautiful.
School Godfather as you could find. It
So
was
it's like
great.
FBI 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, straight up.
But he said he was going to take the Don of NXT on and become the new Don. Tony D'Angelo did succeed for that. We believe it is going to be Tommaso Ciampa's last match in NXT.
Anyone that had Premium Plus on Peacock, I don't, but the video.
I saw the recap of it too.
Triple H came out, gave Tommaso the curtain call moment, said thanks, and all intents and purposes, Tommaso will be on Raw starting probably tomorrow night.
He gave homage to Triple H when he showed up because before the match he swagged a little water, spit it out, did the same thing, and then when he got in the middle of the ring, he got down on his knees and posed just like
as
Shawn Michaels did. He paid respect to both the guys.
He did the Gargano submission.
Yes, he did that too. Yes,
Johnny's now taking independent bookings, which is weird because he was the heart and soul of NXT, but his wife is still in NXT for probably I think another year and a half, minimum, and that's when she comes back. She got pregnant. They added 6 months to her deal. She'll be there for another probably 2 years, but
yeah, why not? She's good anyway.
Yeah, but no, Tommaso, can't wait to see him on the main roster. I don't really know what they have planned for him, but if it's the stuff he's already been doing, he's going to come up as a badass gladiator type guy.
Did you see? It was on. I think it was on Twitter or somewhere. They had rumors.
Oh yeah, no.
They're going to have Edge with a new faction.
Edge is going to have
possibly a dark faction.
Yeah.
With
Priest and
Damian Priest. Damian Priest.
He's finally become Gangrel. His career's come full circle. Yes.
There we go.
Exactly what it is.
But they're saying possibly Tommaso Ciampa and Damian Priest. And that I find that very interesting, and that might work.
Saw that as well.
Which will be weird, only because Tommaso's already kind of been on Raw and SmackDown as a babyface recently. But again, you put somebody with Edge, how can you go wrong?
No, that's it.
Edge has arguably been doing better now than when he was originally in WWE, and he was already one of the big. He already won more titles than anybody in the history of WWE.
Yep.
And now he's back and he's better. Like, okay, Shawn Michaels 2.0, right?
Well,
there.
and Edge is one of those guys that just able to make everybody around him so much better.
Oh yeah. To quote John Cena from the first documentary when he retired, he never saw Edge have a bad match.
No.
Which I think is actually true. I can't think of a match that was bad.
I can't think of one either.
Too.
No.
Yeah.
And all the years that I've watched him his whole career.
And what's so cool to me is when Edge got dark, stayed with Alter Bridge, different Alter Bridge song.
Yes.
A darker version of Alter Bridge, which is so cool to me to see a wrestler who has that platform give love to a band that's been doing a lot of good music for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
I've always loved, actually, I'll be honest, and people always give me shit for this. I didn't listen to Alter Bridge for the longest time because I thought it was bootleg Creed, because I was a big Creed guy, and it was every member of Creed except for Scott Stapp. Looking back, I'm an idiot because Miles Kennedy's one of the greatest singers of all time. And they've had great records, and he used Metalingus for the longest time.
We'll forgive you for that, don't worry.
Yeah, hey, Ask Billy. I've got a CD collection that is worthy of any.
Oh,
any
yes,
haul.
yes,
quite
you told me.
impressive.
Yes, and it's finally over 500. I have officially hit that mark.
Nice.
Yes, I have a very large CD.
I see. I'm working on my wrestling merch. That's what I'm trying. And
Here's the deal.
I've done pretty good.
Here's the deal. I'm only allowed to work on so many collections while we still have this tiny apartment because Allison has to work on her collections as well, and the wife gets what she wants, and I just sit back and say yes, dear. Anyway,
welcome to the life of marriage.
It's been 5 years. I ain't getting rid of her now.
I mean, you could always buy a couple storage totes and start building those up as a collection with your collections inside.
Yeah,
kind of like an Inception.
yeah, because I haven't already done that. Anyway,
Touche.
Oh, he's ready.
I own every DC animated movie on Blu-ray. So I mean, that collection alone is getting too
awesome.
big. But anyway, so
All right.
yeah, Tommaso's going to be great if he's with Edge. Give it some time because Edge will make anything work. And
God,
I
yes.
think Damian Priest, even though he tried, like Jesse said, to do his indie gimmick, it got a little stale. I don't think people really understood it for a while. So I think it's time to sort of reboot him and give him something new. There's nothing wrong with it.
And he's working with Edge, and Edge is going to be kind of like darkish style of that'll
Damian
work.
Priest was that big Puerto Rican guy that we saw at the Ring of Honor show.
Okay.
The Punishment Martinez guy came out who we were like, okay, tiny legs but big ass fucking shoulders. That's him. So yeah,
he's awesome.
Oh,
Oh my God,
yeah,
he's
he's
awesome.
fantastic.
I
I've
love
enjoyed
him.
him in any clip and highlight I've seen.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite from NXT. I'm glad he's
Yep.
up. All right, next one we have the triple threat for the NXT Men's Tag Team Championship with MSK becoming champion again. We thought that was the Creeds. I thought it was going to pull the trigger on the Creeds
They
brothers.
love
there, so.
MSK.
Well, yeah, they're great.
They're a high flying tag team with some weird offense. They were in TNA for a while. They come over and they were Triple H's guys, and now they're Funky Love's guys. Now they're the guys of the newer.
That's what we call the boys at Funky Love. That
Jesse hates Funky Love, so we
you know who that is.
we just
here?
call them that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, so it's interesting because they've gone through two versions of NXT, and everyone's like, all of Triple H's guys are going to get buried. Well,
Nope.
once again, you're proven wrong because they just made these guys the tag team champions over Imperium and Creed, which we think are both more Vince tag teams than MSK.
Definitely, yeah.
And yet they're like, yeah, MSK, go be champions again. Because Creed brothers, they're basically Brock Lesnar 2.0. That's essentially what both guys
yeah.
are. And they're big, they're powerful, they hurt you, and they're fun to watch.
And they can move. Well, they're like that, or they're the reincarnation of the Steiners. A new version of the Steiners too, because they're like that.
Yeah, no, that's
they
true.
got the collegiate background and stuff
Yep,
like that, and they
yep,
can move
but,
and they got powers. So,
but yeah,
And WWE really doesn't have a tag team like that right now.
no, they don't, which I think is interesting because they're really starting to push the Creed brothers, and everyone was like, it's too early, they're not ready for it, and they've put out banger matches.
oh God, yes.
I mean, their
The
first
Dusty
round
Cup-
matchup of the Dusty Cup, the whole room was on their feet.
Yeah.
So like Billy said, I think the crowd reaction kind of matters.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you what they like and don't like in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They're the ones they're watching it.
Yeah.
They're the ones who paid the tickets. Like,
And
they're
by the-
going to pop when they enjoy something.
And by the way, if you don't like a wrestler and you want them gone, don't boo them because Vince is just going to make them a bad guy.
Because
It's-
that's still a reaction.
you're still reacting to them. Like Billy said, Otis will be there as long as the crowd does something when he walks out.
That's true.
onto
Yeah,
the
whether it be
stage.
laughing, booing, cheering, you're just proving that guy's worth.
Yeah.
There you
And,
go.
they're selling merchandise with a T-shirt that just says "shush" on it, so can't beat that.
There you
but
go.
no, I was surprised at the result, but again, I don't hate it because, they want good tag teams. They had the best tag team in the world, but then they left for AEW, and look how well that's gone for them. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Are we going to talk about them today?
Well, we have no choice because they have a match on Wednesday, which I'm pretty sure has been announced. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, we can figure that
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure
we
that
can
out
talk
later.
about Monday too, because Jesse would love to talk about that.
Oh, Jesse, we'll talk about that. Also, FTR had a great Super Card of Honor match with the
Oh,
Briscoes.
they did, yes.
Like, if you love tag team wrestling, find that match, ladies and gentlemen, because holy shit, was that a
I've
good
always
tag team.
enjoyed the
Find
Briscoes.
anything with it.
Find them versus FTR from Friday night. It'll exceed any expectations you have for the Briscoes. It was beyond anything. Sadly, the Briscoes will
Have
never
you seen
be.
the chicken farm match?
No.
Oh,
You got to
so-
look up the chicken farm match.
They fight.
They fight each other,
They fight each other
Oh my
on
God, it's
their
awesome.
family chicken farm in West Delaware.
and their dad's on it
I
too.
mean, definitely gonna have to check that out.
And
that sounds like
their
something that's right up my alley.
Their father is
and
in
their
it.
father, who is the most. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't
Hickish
understand.
redneck motherfucker.
No. I can't say redneck because the dialect they speak in is only in that sort of
In that area,
really
yes, in that area,
country
yes.
Delaware area, because they're not Southern.
Yeah, no.
They're not Nashville Southern. They're not Texas. It's not what you think Louisiana is. It's a weird mixture of like Bayou and New York.
Appalachian, something or other.
It's a weird dialect when they speak, but you obviously have seen a lot of their promos. They're funny as hell. Their dad is them on steroids.
Uh-huh.
It's hilarious.
Well, I mean, and he gave birth. Well, he didn't give birth.
Yeah.
Well, he helped conceive both the children.
He helped
yes.
with them, but
So I can only imagine what his character is like.
Well, no, but it's not a character. It's
Well,
him.
that's what I'm saying, like,
yeah, exactly. But no,
what he's like around the house.
But yeah,
and shit.
I'll find the chicken fight. I'll send it to you. It's hilarious.
It is so
They're
awesome.
taking stupid bumps on their family chicken farm, and Dad is making sure that like, all right, boys, you got to finish this fight now. You know, you're both tired, you're both sweaty, you're
Finish
both
it.
beaten, bloody. We gotta keep going. And there's just chickens running around like. But hey, it's the Briscoes. I'm sure these chickens are used to this shit happening because
Most likely.
it's a
Who knows what goes on that farm?
well, you know, it's really funny. So people don't realize that's their actual day job when they're not wrestling. And there was actually a time, Jim Cornette's told the story, where Mark Briscoe showed up to a Ring of Honor taping, and he looked like death because he spent 4 hours cleaning out a chicken coop where they had a dead chicken in 101 heat in West Delaware. So, and he hadn't showered or cleaned up, so he just showed up to the taping looking like a fucking mess of chicken goop. And it was just, it's a funny story, which is weird because Mark is actually the smarter of the two, bro. Mark's a genius. It's really weird. You listen to him talk outside of being Mark Briscoe, dude's actually one of the smartest people I think you're ever going to talk to.
There we go.
It's kind of funny. But yeah, sadly, we'll never see the Briscoes on network television because, well, you say mean things on Twitter and you either become president or you don't, or you're not allowed on television. It's one or the other. There's no in between.
And I have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. We got the next one is the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Women's Championship and our favorite, now brunette. Mandy Rose
is
pulled
still
it off and
champ,
win.
And
I'm surprised.
I'm not.
You think you are? Okay.
Here's the deal.
All right.
Mandy is doing NXT women's division is the complete opposite of other divisions in wrestling. Everyone's a freaking babyface except for Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
Everyone's a good guy, and well, as WWE ratings are showing for their Evil series, which is doing great on Peacock from what I hear.
Yes, I've seen some of it.
To quote Paul Heyman, do you find good guys interesting?
No.
I don't.
No.
So she is, and by the way, her heat from not only the fact that she was shoved down her throat with the Otis thing, they're like, why is this no talent hack? She's gotten a lot better in the ring. I mean, like in ring, she's great at this point based on what she was. And then last WrestleMania, she fell on her ass, which live on television, which was hilarious.
Well, hey, it was a little wet.
It was. There was a
So
rain
it
delay, but
happens,
the show
you know.
must go on. And
Yeah.
really, they didn't delay the rain very long. It was like they started 30 minutes late, which wasn't that bad actually.
No.
But anyway, no, Mandy winning makes sense to me because she gets to continue to be the most hated person in NXT, which is great. You have a bunch of women that I think a bunch of those women are actually going to get called up at some point. Io Shirai needs to be on Raw or SmackDown because, holy balls, can you imagine being engaged to a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion and being the better wrestler in that relationship? Like, no offense to my man
That's
Evil
true.
over there in New Japan, but bro, your fiance is a hell of a lot better in the ring than you are. Holy shit!
Yeah,
is
you know,
she
it's
good.
like man becomes more hated, but then man becomes more desirable.
Well,
God
you know,
damn.
yeah, and let's be honest. They got you watching NXT 2.0 for reasons. There's no doubt about that. They got
Well, when they bend over, say, oh shit, you forgot something over there.
yeah, there you go. But
I am a dirty old man. Yes.
it was a good match. Kaylee Ray is a great competitor.
Okay,
like
yeah,
she
she's
said, she
awesome.
was the longest reigning women's champion in professional wrestling in like 16 plus, probably longer than that because I think the next longest reign was like, one of Moolah's 14-year
Moolah,
runs.
Moolah's the longest.
Yeah,
Moolah has the longest reign.
It was like it was like 38 years she had that belt or something. But
Holy shit.
mostly politicking because Moolah's a lot's come out since Moolah's passed, and it's not all great. But
Well, I can imagine.
oh yeah, it's not good at all. But anyway, no, Mandy wins. I think it's great. I think there's a lot more to do with her, and now you bring Toxic Attraction, the tag team, down a few notches. She goes up a couple of notches because she's the only one with a belt. You're staring at her. That's what they want you to do. And again, everyone's like, why are they shoving her down our throats? I'm like, hey, y'all are buying her pictures. You're clicking on her Instagram. As long as she has Instagram followers, she ain't going away, folks.
There's a lot of young Catholic boys that are really perverts are going, oh, my God.
Well,
you know they're going to do that.
Well, that's most of the women's wrestling audience.
Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going to my room to watch NXT now.
Hey,
Don't
yeah.
talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then
Lock
when
the
they
door.
when they open the door, you got to lock the door because they open the door, then you see Mandy's ass right there. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what happens.
But hey, folks, it's the oldest thing in marketing. Sex sells, and she sells a lot of merch. Anyway, what do we got there, Leroy? Because we just had that Fatal 4-Way. And once again, like I said, Cora Jade, for a young up-and-comer who, again, AEW had and decided they didn't want, and now she's in WWE making reign.
I was looking, Kaylee, 649 days as a UK women's champ.
Yeah, so, she held that belt for a long time. And NXT UK, folks, look, get Peacock, go watch the shows. NXT UK, if you like wrestling that hurts, NXT UK hurts. It's all about causing pain over there. Love that British strong style, man. Whew.
Oh, God, yeah. Painful to watch, but so enjoyable.
Oh, so good.
All right, next one was our good friend Gunther.
Formerly known as Walter.
As Walter, beating up LA Knight.
Beating up LA Knight, and like I said, folks, go just search Walter, and you will see pictures of men who are like, I regret everything I just did with this man.
Do that, and then hopefully it'll tag on there that him and Dragunov has 2 matches with him.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
Oh, they hurt so much.
Oh, you feel the pain.
Billy,
oh my God!
Billy, seriously, if you can get Peacock, or I don't know if you already have it, but just go.
No.
You don't have the cock?
Thank you.
I got a cock.
We're not talking about that cock.
Cocks are chickens. Anyway, appreciate it.
I don't have any chickens,
yeah,
but I got the cock. I watch it all the time.
That's fair. Anyway,
that's what Jim.
But no, Billy, go. Just they're probably on YouTube by now. Go look up.
Yeah, they're on
Walter
YouTube.
versus Dragunov. It's a Austrian versus a Russian. They're good buddies in real life. They hate each other on screen. It'll hurt watching. They will go 30 minutes, and you'll think they went 15. That's how into it you'll be. It's
and
holy crap.
Hell yeah.
It's,
I'd be down for that.
I didn't watch it, and then he goes, "You got to watch this," and I watched it. I was like, "Oh."
Dragunov's chest after each match looks like ground beef. That's how hard Walter hurt.
It reminds me of back in the territory days when I was watching before WWE got big, and I'm watching that stuff.
You're watching old Jerry the King Lawler matches where he's just 4 hours they're beating the fuck out of each other.
There's people don't realize when Hogan was in the match. Hogan when he first came in, they go, "We don't like you. I want to be a wrestler." They broke his goddamn leg.
Yeah.
Then he came back, and later he was like, "I guess he wants
really
to be a
just
wrestler."
Beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah. If they didn't like something, they hit you.
Yeah.
It hurt.
I mean, okay, so in wrestling when they get really tired and they're 20 minutes into a match, they start throwing potatoes because they just don't have any. These guys were throwing potatoes at the start of the match. They didn't fucking care. These guys just beat the fuck out of each other, and it's great to watch. But anyway, no, LA Knight put on a great show. I think that because he's taken 2 straight losses, he built up Grayson Waller. He let Gunther have the win. I think he's destined for main roster because he's another Vince guy. I mean, he's another guy who's just fucking entertaining. He's athletic. He can talk his ass off. And I think he'll be on Raw or SmackDown in the next couple of weeks. So that's my opinion because he's just, he's great. And again, when you've got the audience, when you speak and the audience is repeating what you just said or they're saying it with you, you're a Vince guy all day, a la see Chris Jericho before Chris Jericho got fat. Anyway.
Woo, yes. Well, he slimmed down a little bit now.
Well, that's because, again, like Jesse said, a bunch of black dudes on NBA Twitter were like, damn, Jericho's out of shape. And all of a sudden, Jericho's like, all right, I'll get in the gym.
Yeah, I just looking up Kaylee Ray. She has a third longest title reign.
Yeah, right?
It's Fabulous Mula had like 10 years.
Yep.
The Glamour Girls, Judy Martin and Leslie Kay.
Yep.
They had another one, and that was from 85 to 88.
So, yeah.
Kaylee Ray, and the next
3 years.
And the next one is Asuka's number 4.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, and Asuka, arguably, we'll see her probably tomorrow night or Friday.
It's a possibility. I hope so. I miss that girl.
Jesse does
I've
too.
always enjoyed her.
Jesse does too. Jesse loves them Joshis. He's like,
with a passion.
A little bit.
All right, the last match of the night
yes.
for the NXT Championship, and our boy Dolph Ziggler won again. Beat Braun.
I think that Braun is
Breaker.
done in NXT. I think after.
Do you know who Braun Breaker is?
I've heard of him and seen pictures, but I've
here's the thing.
That's Rick Steiner's son.
Okay.
He's actually a Steiner. He was a fullback last year. He got cut by the Ravens and immediately went down to WWE. It's literally, and it's weird, he wrestles like Rick, talks like Scott. It's literally
best of both worlds.
It's literally a combination of the Steiners. Now, one thing the internet will try to tell you is Braun Breaker is his name. Why didn't they just call him a Steiner? He didn't want to be a Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
He chose the name. He wanted to try to make it on his own. They just recently, this past Tuesday, said he's the son of the Steiners. He inducted his dad and his uncle into the Hall of Fame. I think he's had 35, I think, total matches in his entire career, and he's already just Vince. Let's take it this way. Jim Cornette said, and I quote, if he doesn't get hurt in 2 years, he'll be the biggest guy in wrestling. The last guy he said that about, you might have heard of him. His name's Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
You might have heard of him.
I don't know who that is, but I've heard of The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's my point. Is just this guy has had 30-some matches, and I guarantee you they're already like, all right, just.
But also you got to look at who he worked with.
Oh yeah, no,
he worked with Dolph and he worked with Tommaso Ciampa.
And Dolph has been making people look good for like 20 years. Dolph Ziggler's the best seller in wrestling.
Two professionals that would
I've
be.
always loved Dolph.
Oh, Dolph's great.
Oh, I liked him back when he was a cheerleader.
And
that was fun.
Yeah. Yep. and like Jim Cornette has said when he's talked about Braun Breaker, he has that weird thing that the Steiners did, which is they're just so freaking powerful that even though it looks like they're hurting you, they're just kind of picking you up and setting you down on like a pillow. But it looks like they're beating the crap out of you. And Billy, as you know, as a former football guy, basically it's when he spears somebody, it's just an open field tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all it is. Just it's an open field tackle,
yeah.
And it looks like it hurts because it's a football tackle. It's great and love it. But yeah, no, it's hilarious because before they acknowledged he was a Steiner, they made so many jokes about the Steiner brothers on NXT television.
About him?
About him. So it's like the crowd's barking like his dad. They made a math joke from Scott's promo down in TNA where he made the wrong math, but it was still so close that people love it. So it's been hilarious. Actually, he did a math promo. And everyone was like, we know what that was. So, yeah, he's literally the Steiners created him in a lab, and he's the perfect combo of Rick and Scott. And,
just the perfect specimen.
Oh, yeah. And again, you know, he's a former football guy, so, I mean, he's clearly in shape, and he can clearly, you know, go. But, like, I mean, yeah, he lost the match. He's no longer the NXT champion, even though he already lost it beforehand. It was the rematch. I think he's done because... I mean, he's exactly what Vince wants. He's a big dude. He can wrestle. He can go. He's a powerhouse. He can kind of talk. It's not really there yet, but we can't expect you to be The Rock after 35 matches because The Rock was given a microphone and all of a sudden you're like, well, we found the biggest star in the history of the business because holy shit.
Well, and The Rock talks on the mic like nobody else
Oh,
can,
yeah,
so you're probably never going to see that again.
Yeah, no. It's,
no, so you went Ric Flair and it went to Rock.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
But yeah, no.
I love Braun. I mean, seeing him for the first time, I was like, damn.
I
loved it.
If it's not tomorrow night or Friday, he'll be up by SummerSlam. Calling it right now. Give it 3 more months. Braun Breaker will not be in NXT anymore because God.
And I don't think they need to have another match with him and Dolph.
No.
I think it's done.
Dolph's gonna take NXT to another level because Dolph will make everyone look good, and then when the match is over, you'll hate Dolph because Dolph will still win because that's what Dolph does. He pisses you off, but he also makes everyone look fantastic.
Oh, you think he's immediate? Well, yeah. That's like who's his next? who's the next competitor for Dolph down there?
I don't know because again, people don't realize we're in the old NXT, the original NXT, where if you're a star, you're going to Raw, or SmackDown. Like, you're not here for very long. Bye. Go to the main roster. Like, no more, hey, here's a 3-year deal. You're going to spend 2.5 of it in NXT being a star in NXT, and then you're going to go to Raw and SmackDown for 6 months. No.
Well, I said, we got to see.
Goodbye. Maybe Tony D.
Tony.
He's the Don now.
He could be, yeah.
And,
but how long is
Pete Dunne's dead, and we got this guy named Butch running around.
I can't believe they did that.
It's funny because Pete Dunne was actually asked about it. He said, I don't give a fuck what they call me. I just want to go out there and fucking wrestle. I mean,
but we'll see. Well,
I feel like they could have called Nico Butch, and he would have been like, all right,
yeah,
we'll make it work.
I mean, it'd be more fitting for him than Pete Dunne.
Yeah. Well, they're going so 1930s Victorian England with Sheamus and Ridge and all that shit. We'll talk about that.
Well, see, I'm just looking forward to the next person in the bloodline to come up from
Solo
NXT.
Sikoa.
He's looking good.
It's weird. He looks so much
like the
Usos.
He does.
It's weird.
I don't think he's the next one that's going to come up.
Dark in the hair, you wouldn't know that he's a cousin, right?
I believe
he's not their brother. He's a cousin.
He's a
once again,
who isn't a goddamn cousin in that family?
The
Fatus are a big ass family.
That's a big family, man. And, but Solo Sikoa. Vince is probably like, I got another one. Let's push them to the moon because they're all great. They're all fantastic.
Yeah, what are they on, like their 4th generation already?
Well, let's see. I mean, you had Yoko, you had Rikishi, you had Chief Jay Strongbow, you had the great High Chief Peter Maivia was obviously the patriarch of the family. And then you went down to Tamina's there. She's still a powerhouse. Rikishi, the Headhunters, the Usos, Roman, Rock, 5th or 6th generation that Vince has got, and they're all working for Vince because Vince knows how to use those Samoan boys and make them famous.
Umaga, like he was huge.
No, they are brothers.
Okay, so that is Rikishi's.
His father's Rikishi, and his older brother are Jay and Jimmy Uso.
So he's the younger brother.
He is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jay.
He definitely got Rikishi's genes though, because he's a big mofo. He's a big Samoan.
They have him pegged at 6'2", 220.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
And by the way, he looks
I'm 5'9", 215.
But he looks Samoan in the sense that he's definitely more Rikishi, where he's got kind of a pot belly to it, but he can move. Like
looks just like him.
Yeah,
looks just like Daddy. And
he looks like Daddy. He looks like his brothers.
And he looks like his brothers. Yeah. But hey, Vince is just like, hey, if y'all want to keep making them, I'll keep putting them on television.
Right.
Vince McMahon will go to his grave, and the Inoue family will still have 5 members on any roster.
The Samoan families they're big.
Massive.
I don't know. They like having a lot of children or something.
Well,
I don't know.
Like Native American families. I got
was just about
500 cousins.
I was just about to say I don't
even met half of them.
I was about to say this is not a racist comment to say you come from a people that just your families are huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
my grandma had a total of 22 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
At one point.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like one died at birth, a couple died here and there, but.
Well, my grandma there was 12, and then she had 7.
Yeah.
Then we kind of slowed down. We didn't. 4, 5 was our biggest ones that we had,
yeah.
but I was like, that's a lot of damn kids. Oh my god.
No, folks, anyone in the Inoue Fatu family, Vince will make a star out of you somehow. I'll tell you that much.
It's in their blood.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're all great at it.
There hasn't been a bad one.
No.
I mean, no.
And that's it. I don't think Umaga is Hall of Fame worthy like Rikishi wants, but you can't say that Umaga wasn't a complete badass.
Oh, his gimmick before wasn't the best.
No.
But then when he went to Umaga was awesome.
Oh, and by the way, MLW's former champion is still down there and is arguably one of the best in the business on the indies. Jacob, which the only reason he's not in WWE is because WWE doesn't want to touch him for his criminal record. But I mean, Jacob.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Jacob Fatu. Well, that's what.
They have to. They got to get him. Vince has to pull their head out of their ass.
At some point, I feel
like criminal records bullshit. You just had one of the Usos just get a DUI.
His 5th.
Like, what the hell?
Well, but here's the deal. He just I don't think he's allowed to drive anymore because I feel like
I think they took care
even
of
though
that.
he lives in Florida and Florida's basically Elden Ring, Dark Souls, where you can do whatever the fuck you want and it's just evil. That's the funniest shit in the world. Is I play Elden Ring so much, like it's weird. I have to tell the story. So in Elden Ring, there's an early part where you think, okay, I'm gonna get this item. No, the chest transports you to a place where you walk out and you're like, I can beat these guys, and they just fucking murder you because it's this awful place. And I'm like, oh, it's just Florida, cool. Anyway, but no, I think even in Florida, after how many DUIs he's had, I think his license has been taken away.
Well, I mean, he can always borrow his brother's.
That's fair.
That's true, unfortunately.
Yeah, but anyway, hey, NXT, in my opinion, great show. I loved it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, which I think, in my opinion, is a really good show.
Yep, I gotta probably catch it Monday sometime so I can finish watching the rest of it.
I can't wait for Dave to rate it at minimum 3 because the Bucks weren't there.
I know, because nobody's on their knees sucking him, or he's not sucking somebody.
Hey,
so
man, I tell people...
I still can't stand those guys.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell you. Billy was there.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Billy was there when I stood in line to get a picture with the Bucks.
Yeah.
And Billy, to this day, has said, I don't know why you were ever into these guys. I don't know why you were ever a fan of theirs, but...
I don't get it.
I thought they were okay when I first knew about them and stuff like that.
Well, they were great when they first
hey.
came out, but here's the problem. When you do the same thing for 15
worse.
years and you realize that someone gets kicked with a chair and all of a sudden you're up 5 seconds later, I'm like, what? Like, all right.
We sold you sold the chair shot more than they did.
I know. I sold both chair shots better than they sold chair shots. I can say that.
I sold getting a wrestler thrown on me and Jesse landed on me better.
Yeah.
That was tough.
We had a rough night at DPW.
So when are you guys gonna start getting paid like that?
Well,
we're working on it.
Well,
I'm working on getting these T-shirts, so hopefully we'll get
We're gonna have T-shirts for the show soon, and even though WWE
I just gotta go up and order them.
Even though WWE won't do it, yes, folks, we will tell you right now. We don't know when, we don't know how. We will have a shirt that just has Jesse saying "Big meaty men slapping meat."
We'll have
that shirt.
I'm just gonna have his picture and that phrase on it.
Yes,
that's it.
And we're gonna send it to Big E because we'll be like, Big E,
damn right. We need this, Big E. Here you go, Big E.
We did it. But anyway, do you want to get to the main event card now?
Do night one?
We'll do night one.
Review night one.
Now I believe they started right around 7.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, they went off the air. I want to say right around 11. So it was a 4-hour show.
Yeah, it was about that's when I put the kids to bed. It was 11.
I mean, Billy, even back when you were watching a lot, pay-per-views were normally 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't outside the realm that they were 4 hours, and that's why I think...
Well, especially like the bigger ones like Mania and Rumble, they always lasted a few hours.
And that's why, in my opinion, going to 2 nights, when you have so many stars that have matches and everything, there was no point in saying WrestleMania is only going to be this and that. 2 nights is not a bad idea, especially since I remember the last WrestleMania before COVID, it was a fucking 8-hour show.
I know. Oh, my God.
I went to bed at
and
fucking...
every
was
year
tiring.
it would start earlier and earlier. Like,
well, It became the Super Bowl, which people were always like, when's kickoff? I'm like, forget kickoff. Pre-shows are like fucking 3 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Work's always like, can you work that day? I'm like, no. They're like, why not? I'm like, because I can't get out of here in time for fucking pre-show.
Yeah,
like,
we'd always use the pre-show to eat all the pizza and snacks and get all full and get our spots on the couch and the floor.
Yeah.
I was always on the floor right in front of the TV. I got a little stand
There
right
you
by my
go.
pop and Tootsie Rolls and Twizzlers.
Yeah. And I had McDonald's for night 1, but tonight I'm going to call up Clyde Iron and get some wings.
I don't know what I'm going to have tonight.
Yeah. Hey, it's our Super Bowl. Here at the show, so it's
maybe I'll call Toppers tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Can't go wrong with pizza.
No,
I know. Yeah, the kids. I'm like, is that a pizza? Yeah, Toppers. All right.
Allison
I used to work there, and I just make my own pizzas.
Yeah.
I worked at the one down over by UMD, and
and
closing, I just make myself a small pizza
Leroy,
and throw whatever on it.
You'll be happy. Allison ordered Ride or Die the other
Oh
night.
yeah.
So.
Was it? Yeah, my girlfriend that popped in here. That's what that was. That she works over there.
Yeah,
it's pretty good pizza over there.
Maybe it's just because I grew up on it because my family always did Sammy's because that's a family thing.
Sammy's good.
I'm still a bigger
fucking pizza.
Oh my god, Sammy's guy. There's a taste that seems to always be in their pizza. I can't describe it. It's not bad, but it's just, for me, Sammy's is just it's hard to beat that Sammy's pizza.
Yes.
When I mean
Sammy's is very
I
hard.
can't stop. If I get a large pizza in front of me, I'm just gonna keep shoveling it in.
That is the bad part for me too.
It's really funny. So my aunt has 2 girls. They're my cousins, and when they would always come over for Sammy's pizza, my dad would come in from going to pick it up because they were just down the street from my parents' house, and he'd have like 6 boxes. And my aunt's like, okay, I know that all the grandparents are here, the cousins are here. Why do we have 6 boxes? My mom goes, oh, you see those 2 right there? Yeah, that's for Zach and Ian. Are they splitting it? No, and I'm talking. We had the big family size pizzas because, like you said, once you get into Sammy's Pizza, a family size all of a sudden becomes
goes quick.
Nothing. Like
God, yes.
All of a sudden you're through a family size pizza and you're like, wait, is that it?
I like to call that a personal pan pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Sammy's Pizza 20.
That's the bad part about good food. Boom. That's what everybody says. Like this.
Because I think Sammy's family size is like 22 inches or something.
Yeah.
And it's up in the 20s, but I'm like, I can never tell by the end of it because I've plowed through that pizza.
Well, I was telling anybody that cooks me food, everything, right to a man's stomach is to my heart is through my stomach. Is like if I'm eating, if I'm not saying anything, leave me alone.
Yes.
That means I'm enjoying it. I'll tell you after I'm done.
But
And yes, I'm breathing.
Yeah. If I have to stop and talk to you, it's not good.
Yeah. But
it's like, huh?
Yeah, no.
Just leave me alone.
But my aunt used to always just be so surprised because like my brother and I would still use plates, but like it'd be 4 inches off the plate. We found a way to get the entire pizza onto a small square plate, but it went 6 inches up. Anyway, so let's get to this card because folks, I don't care about the internet saying it doesn't feel like WrestleMania. The week leading up was weird. Everyone was like, I don't feel like it's WrestleMania. Folks, Super Bowl comes up and I'm like, oh, right, that's happening on Sunday. Luckily, I have Sundays off. But, folks, just because the build-up's not great doesn't mean the game wasn't great between Cincinnati and L.A. And then, like, with WrestleMania, it was a great night.
Oh, it is.
It felt like WrestleMania to me.
When the pyros hit and stuff like that, I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I seen for entrances, and I followed through with all the results.
That's the one thing I love.
Vince McMahon has an ability. And, like, again, I gave AEW credit for their last pay-per-view, saying it was good. But to all the people that said they've had great pay-per-views the whole time, they've had pay-per-views where I'm like, this just feels like a bad Dynamite.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing special about it. The entrance is still the same. Vince McMahon, you got to give the man credit. When it's time to really make you pay for something, he gives you your money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine what the front row seats were for Mania. Someday in my life, I will be at a Mania. Don't get me wrong, but
we got to work on that.
I'm gonna have to mortgage mortgage the house to get front row. I'll tell you that.
I will sell my firstborn child. He will understand.
Why don't you just sell the walrus they used to get married to?
Oh no, she has a boyfriend that she's torturing right now, so I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his fault.
Out of sight, out of mind.
And he's an old friend of mine. I'm just like, whatever.
Well, but to be fair, I mean,
it's his loss,
I don't know what the price of walrus meat is right now, but you might be able to get something for the blubber.
Yeah, that's true. And the funny part is, a former coworker and a coworker of mine saw her out at Target in Duluth here, and saw her with her boyfriend, and she walked up to her boyfriend, looked at him, and said, good luck, and walked away. And I looked at her, I'm like, I love you, Barbara. That was awesome. And she goes, I thought you'd like that.
I remember when I used to get shit from our former coworkers at Quick Trip that were like, Zach, are you allowed? Zach, you're not allowed to say that. I'm like, oh, no, Leroy's giving me approval. That's fine.
And he says, hey, the walls are here. I'm like, I felt a disturbance in the force. and the floor shook.
And even in West Duluth, I felt the ground shake. Anyway.
You just look at the cup of water, and it's like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, she's coming.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, first night, they had one match that was cut. It looks like they're adding it to tonight.
We'll
get in there on that.
Here's the deal.
It happens.
This was the match.
Time restraint.
This was the match that I don't think anyone really cares if they see or not. Yeah. Nothing against the people in it, but I feel like because Big E got hurt, the build-up got strangely changed and messed around with. And
I'm guessing they'll probably it might be a pre-show match before.
Well, here's the deal.
Or to start off.
Well, there's only 6 matches left that they've announced. I feel like in 4 hours you can put 6 matches together and make it work.
8.
So.
Well, now
is it 6 or 8?
There was 7, and then when I pulled it up on Wikipedia, they added it on day 2. So we'll talk about that on day 2.
8 matches in 4 hours. That's not hard.
There we go. All right, first match of the night. God, I loved the interest with Boogs and Nakamura.
Oh
my God,
Mike's
that
Hard
was
Lemonade
frickin',
dress up. That was
awesome.
That was something.
But it was for the SmackDown Tag Team match, and the Usos did pull it off. But unfortunately, Rick Boogs got hurt.
I think they had to make a. If you watch Nakamura, he was legitimately angry when Boogs got hurt. So I think Usos winning might have been on the fly.
I think it was
because folks, you have to understand, and Billy, I think you know from watching, it doesn't make sense for a guy in a championship tag match to just all of a sudden beat two guys by himself.
Right.
So obviously, I think they made a call in the middle of the ring. Boogs' patella tendon went out. It's the one above the kneecap snapped. So that'll require surgery. He'll be out for a while. Luckily, it wasn't an ACL because usually the patella ligaments are a little easier to come back from.
Yes,
and it's not exactly the smart idea to have an injured wrestler win the championship.
Yeah. So basically, I think on the fly, they just looked at themselves and said, "All right, Usos, we're gonna come up with some finish and make it work." But
and it was a short match because it happened right away. It was only
just
under 7 minutes.
And credit to the commentators for basically saying, hey, I think that Jimmy jumped on top of Jay when Boogs was holding him as a defensive thing. Because I think they were probably going for the spot of Boogs can lift both guys, which I think he can.
Oh, yeah.
But when your knee goes out, I mean, Jesse, we talked about Otis. When the knees are out, there's no base. You can't lift shit.
Oh, trust me. My knees hurt sometimes, and it sucks.
Yeah. well, and like I said, I mean, Billy, you were a center for a good 2-3 years, never gave up a single sack. A lot of that came from you were pretty low to the ground compared to a lot of the guys coming at you.
Right.
But no, I think it was on the fly. I think randomly they had to kind of get together with the ref in secret and be like, gotta change this.
Yeah, they just called an audible.
Pretty
on the fly.
sure, because here's the deal. I don't know that it was a change, but the way I look at it, I look at Nakamura, he legitimately probably didn't know what was happening, so he probably was pissed that that's how it ended.
Yeah,
which, by the way,
genuine.
I don't think, folks, that doesn't mean Shinsuke was mad at Boogs. You can't get mad at a guy for getting hurt. I mean, that's shit happens.
Right.
And it just so happened to happen at WrestleMania, and the video of Boogs having to be basically lifted out of the arena with his leg tied up straight as an arrow, that's going to be, he'll be out for a while, but hey, it's not as bad as like the ACL because it's like the ACL. People don't realize it's like 2-3 inches long, whereas the patella tendon's a little longer, so they can probably reattach that a little better. But I feel bad for Boogs and Nakamura. I felt they had the momentum to win. I loved all their vignettes leading up to everything. Boogs is a very talented guy. Like I said, he's another Otis. He's strong, but he's also entertaining. Vince will bring him back and do something with him. So
you never want to see somebody get hurt.
Oh God, no.
Like,
yeah.
Especially when they're putting on a good show.
Yeah.
Like you said, shit happens. Like,
it's
that's the way it goes. I mean,
comes with the territory.
Yeah,
it's
live entertainment, folks.
Well, as our name card subject to change.
Yeah, so
it happens.
But hey, you know what? Credit to them. It seemed like they got their shit together really quick. It didn't look like they paused to figure out a plan or anything like that. So credit to all the guys involved. They kind of on the fly were like, all right, going the opposite way.
There we go. All right.
It's not like an AEW where a fucking 6'8", 300-pound guy tries to do a moonsault, pretty much puts his neck flat on the frickin' mat, and then all of a sudden you hear the doctor going, go to the finish. No, just silently make it up, guys. So.
There we go. All right, next one on the card, it was Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. Drew McIntyre beat him up. And
I know a lot of people hated this match being on Mania. They're like, oh, you could have finished it on SmackDown. This was a good match. I enjoyed it. They gave it some time.
And he kicked, and Drew kicked
and
out
for the first time,
of End of Days.
Since Baron Corbin has been called up from NXT, End of Days was kicked out of. I know that Baron's probably hurt by that because he never wanted it to happen. Well, ask Darren how his brother's feeling about it because I'm sure
we will have to talk to Darren and see
Darren,
what he says.
How's your brother feel about that? Because I mean,
well, he's down in Texas, so you could probably talk to him.
Yeah, exactly. He's down there for Mania weekend. But no, it's a hey, look, folks, all good things eventually have to come to an end. Even the Tombstone got kicked out of late into Taker's career by Shawn. So obviously this wasn't Shawn versus Taker, but
it happens now. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again.
Right.
So I mean, and if if nobody kicks out of it for a while, they're going to forget about it.
And I'll be honest, I'm actually with Baron here, as I think sadly we're getting to a point where finishers are becoming just like everyday moves. People are kind of kicking out of them too much, and that's sort of the crap that the Indies has seeped into Vince's promotion. In that, what I loved about Cody versus Seth, and we'll get to that in a little bit, and obviously people already know about it, was the biggest thing on the show.
Oh, yes.
Seth never hit the stomp. Now, Cody hit the crossroads a bunch. I think Cody sold it better than most wrestlers do when they hit their finisher 5 times in a row, but Seth never hit the stomp. That's what people got to realize. Go back and watch the match. The stomp was never hit.
He
teased
tried.
it a lot.
He tried. And then, I don't know about you, but I kind of, winced at the end there when the sword came down and all of a sudden the ropes.
Oh,
like,
my God.
That.
That was so funny.
That was great. And I was like, oh, God,
as a
I feel sorry for those.
Though,
as a ring crew guy, yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit. That's
going to suck.
Here's the deal. They knew about it because they obviously had to get in there and fix it quickly.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, I know how long I have to fix this. I need to get my ass going because
they're running like hell to do that.
Folks, you basically have a quick Snickers commercial and then a build up to the next match video package to get that shit done. And you could tell because of the camera angles, they were still putting it up during the next entrance. So I mean, like, as a ring crew guy, I'm like,
oh God, it
crap,
hurt. It
this is my
hurt
worst
seeing
nightmare.
that. It hurt seeing that, but I was like, oh damn. Oh, all right. Well, after that good match, it was the tag team match with our favorite guy, The Miz, and that dipshit Logan Paul. Unfortunately, beating the Mysterios.
Here's the deal.
But he did look good.
Ray, I give credit to because at this point in his career, there's nothing more for Rey Mysterio to do except enjoy the ride because Ray's done everything you can do in all of wrestling. Dominic, I think, did a tremendous job. For those of you wondering, yes, Eddie used to look like that in a tag team, but I think it was more of a tribute to Art Barr.
Okay,
who was Eddie's tag team partner?
Yeah.
As the Los Gringos. But great tribute to Eddie all throughout the night.
Yes.
I was a little bugged about Logan doing the tribute to Eddie, but hey, I'm supposed to hate it, so they did their job.
That's right. That is right.
Now that it's over with, I can sit back and be like, as much as I was praying, and yes, I said it live on air, I never pray for injuries, but that was an injury I was hoping for.
I wouldn't have been mad.
Nobody. I don't think that
nobody would have been mad about that one.
I don't think anybody who actually knows the real Logan Paul and isn't one of those people that is apparently a fan of his. Don't know how you're a fan of that guy, but
my kid knows about it. He's not a fan.
I remember the line of Logan's a self-made man. He wasn't handed a YouTube channel by Daddy. And I'm like, no, if he was, Daddy wouldn't have let you put a dead body in. Yes, Logan,
Yes.
You did that. I'm surprised you still have a YouTube channel because they got people getting copyright struck on YouTube and kicked off YouTube for so many worse, like not even close to worse reasons now. They kick people, like Markiplier got a strike for a video for being violent and I'm trying not to laugh. That's still on YouTube, but Markiplier got a strike for it. But Logan Paul's still allowed to have 23 million followers, and you broke Japanese law, basically. So
there we go.
Yeah. This match,
he's good at playing the heel. Like
he's perfect at it. By the way,
it's just his personality.
For those of you wondering,
I know.
For those of you wondering, that was not a shoot by Corey Graves. He had the most expensive Pokemon card ever around his neck, coming down looking like a bad gym leader.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I can't even be mad though, because that'd be dope to have.
Yeah,
I'd wear that shit around if I had it.
Well, I mean, we all know. We all know Logan probably did this because he's trying to make up the payday for the $1 million card that he bought that wasn't actually $1 million. But yeah, hey, I hate to say it. I gotta give Logan credit. He wrestled fairly well. He did his job. When you actually look at him wrestle, the moves protected Dominic. They protected Ray. He did the moves correctly.
I noticed he was surprisingly safe. Everything he was doing.
Yeah, and I'll give him
wasn't
credit.
As stiff as I thought he was going to be at all.
I still think you're an absolute human piece of garbage. And you know what? If your brother was in the crowd, dude, you're a bigger piece of shit than Logan.
He was on the pre-show. I'm like,
but hey, you know what? This match proves why WrestleMania was still WrestleMania, and here's why: the crowd was into it. They were popping for it. I mean, they were having a really good time, and I always say to myself, hey, The crowd can't be into it the way they were with Rock and Hogan and Rock and Stone Cold. They can't be standing the whole time.
Right.
I mean, that's saved for moments where, like you said, it's Rock, it's Hogan, it's Stone Cold, it's Taker. Those moments don't always happen, but hey, the crowd was into it.
Well, and people on my Facebook page were talking about that match more than any of the other ones.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, it works out. It's and hey, credit to Miz. He took a shot. The only critique I have for Logan was, dude, you gotta sell the skull crushing finale longer, man. Yeah. I mean, you can't just pop up and then be like, oh, my face hurts. No, man, you gotta kind of roll around for a little bit there. The referee should have done a better job, be like, stay down. But other than that, I mean, hey, it was a good celebrity match. I think people have to realize in this modern day, celebrity matches are not going to be what they used to, which is the celebrities suck. I mean, the celebrities are going to be a little more into it. Bad Bunny set the bar now because he trained for 6 months. Billy, you wanted to talk a little bit about celebrity matches at WrestleMania. I mean, do you hate them? I mean, do you dislike them, or do they have their place there?
They're obviously going to draw ratings, bring an extra source of fans in, so I get why and where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But it all depends on who.
Right. You were not a fan of Snooki.
Absolutely God, no.
No one gave a shit when Snooki was there.
But I also loved it when they had Steve-O and Chris Pontius and Johnny Knoxville, because guys you could throw around.
And here's the thing.
He's on tonight.
Well, that's just it. Oh, yeah. It's Sami Zayn versus Knoxville, and it's
no hold barred.
And it's no holds barred. Anything goes. Which, by the way, for any of you wondering, is this going to be bad? Johnny Knoxville is a glorified stuntman on steroids. Like Johnny.
And he's been doing it for
people have to understand.
30 years.
Johnny Knoxville didn't go to school to be a stuntman. He just did stupid shit with his buddies, and he's basically indestructible at this point. And Sammy's going to be able to throw him around, and this will be a night off for Johnny Knoxville. I mean, like, the man's had a crocodile on his nipple. He's been shot with an riot thing. Like, I mean, this is a night off for Johnny Knoxville to get beat up in a wrestling ring.
Bowling balls and shit dropped on his nuts, sledgehammers into his crotch. Like,
he's been hit by a bowl more times than he friggin' knows because he got brain damage from the last bit. But.
Yeah, and then got hit by a linebacker, off defensive lineman.
Yeah, no, Jared Allen just picked him up and set him down all nice.
No, he killed him. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I felt that pain. But, oh my God.
No.
If he can take that, he can take a wrestling match.
I think you make a good point. I mean, it's never going to be the fanfare of when Jerry Lawler was working with Andy Kaufman, because they obviously didn't, that was back when the veil was still over and nobody knew that it was a shoot. So,
well, now we got internet, Twitter,
hey
800
folks,
different websites.
Hey folks, if you're out there saying that the Cody thing was ruined for you and you didn't pop as hard, I still stood. Ask Allison. I stood up. I still didn't know who it was because there were so many rumors. I enjoyed it, but I don't let the internet ruin my wrestling.
Yes.
If you let the internet ruin wrestling for you, that's on you. Like, I mean, here's the deal. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, just get off social media. No, you can still be on social media, see everything, but if you let it bother you, that's on you. I mean, I understand that social media causes a lot of depression and anxiety issues, but that's also kind of your fault. I hate to be that guy who's honest about it, but like, yes, Allison has anxiety and depression. It's diagnosed, and social media can sometimes hurt that, but at the same time, is it directly affecting you? No, it's affecting the world around you. So,
does she follow the Iron Sheik? Because that would probably cure that.
Hey, Leroy, Iron Sheik finally got to the ring last night because remember what Bobby Heenan said at WrestleMania 14 is,
his Twitter shit pops up on the Twitter account every once in a while.
I love it.
Goddamn Hogan, you jabroni! I'm like,
Iron Sheik is still in.
Hogan's still the biggest bitch.
Yep,
I love it.
Iron Sheik is still Iron Sheik 30 years later, and nobody cares because it's Iron Sheik.
Yes, I love the guy.
but no, it's just look. Here's the deal. Like you said, Billy, love or hate Logan Paul, he does have a following. He does have an audience. It brought a lot of people in that probably wouldn't have watched WrestleMania if Logan wasn't there. And although I will never be a fan of Logan Paul the person, I want to see you get your ass kicked, bro. Like, if you ever want to face a real boxer in a non-scripted fight, I will definitely buy the pay-per-view and I'll watch you get your ass kicked.
Put him against Butterbean and let him hit him.
And to be...
that'd be
or
nasty.
Get inside an octagon.
And to your brother Jake, bro, you've never had a real boxing fight. Don't give me this bullshit. You're like, I mean, you're giving somebody $10 million on the side to throw the fight. I'm sorry, you are. There's no way that an actual real fighter is going to lose to a guy who, I don't care how much you train. You are an amateur. You're not a pro boxer.
No.
Screw whatever your card says, bro. Like, you're 6-0 because you've faced dudes with like 4 fights under their belt. You really want to make money? Call up one of the actual heavyweight boxers in the world.
Yep.
And be like, I'll give you $10 million to come do this, and don't give them another $10 million to throw the fight. Get in there and actually box. You gonna get your ass kicked, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not one of these people that
3 rounds.
I'm not one of these people that looks at Jake Paul and says that's a legit boxer. No, dude, you're a stunt man. That's all you are.
Yeah.
I actually think that if Logan Paul faces Mike Tyson and they allow Mike Tyson to actually hit him in the head, I think Logan Paul is going to go down in a fucking heap of, because I still think Tyson has legit power in that right hand. I think
he
Tyson
has
whips
power.
his ass.
He's quick. Yeah, that would make it out of the first round.
No more exhibition.
Not somebody I'd want to run into in an
Oh,
alley.
no.
Oh, hell no. I'm like, hi, Mike.
No more.
I'm your friend.
Hey, you want all the money in my wallet?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, here you go.
No more exhibition rules, no headshots, no knockouts. Get in a real fight, get in a real boxing match.
I've never understood stipulations either. Like,
here's the deal, though.
you're boxing, like, no headshots? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
For some strange reason, the Paul brothers have brought into the main boxing world, and this is why boxing is hurting me, and I want to get Al's take on this when he gets back, but I don't remember, because I remember growing up, and Ali was obviously out, but you still had great heavyweights. You had the George Foremans, you had,
Marlon Hager.
Lennox Lewis was there.
Mm-hmm.
You had all these great heavyweights. You had Tyson, obviously. I don't remember a boxing card with Foreman and Tyson and Lennox Lewis. I don't remember there being an exhibition match.
No.
The whole card were guys who were actually trying to win the fucking fight. But now, for some strange reason, you want me to pay twice as much for pay-per-view than I would have in the 90s to watch an exhibition? What the fuck is that about? At least Conor McGregor had the balls to be like, no, I'll put you in an actual fight. And in my opinion, I think that Conor McGregor, if he had had better cardio, actually would have won that fight.
Yeah.
Conor was actually good.
Yeah.
Conor just wasn't used to a long boxing match because UFC fights are never that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, 3-minute rounds? 5-minute rounds? Or
Yeah.
whatever the hell
Yeah,
they
that's
are?
about it.
Yeah, no, championship fights are 5-minute rounds.
So 15 minutes, as where a boxing match is
12
12 rounds?
Yeah, which can go 3-4 minutes, which is a long time. So
Yeah, it's like a half hour.
yeah, but no, it's like at least Conor McGregor made his money in a legit fight. Like, I mean, maybe people are angry that Floyd got his 50th win on a guy who's essentially an amateur boxer, but Conor McGregor was still a legit fighter in a legit fight. Like, I mean, you can't get mad that, Floyd made a fight, took the fight, won. Are you going to tell me Jake Paul's as good as Floyd Mayweather because Jake Paul, quote-unquote, is undefeated? No, Jake Paul's never been in a real fucking boxing match once in his life.
Yeah, no shit.
And his sparring partners are probably paid extra to take it easy on him, too.
Money talks?
Hey,
There we go.
Look, much like the Bucks, the Paul brothers have made their money. I can't fault them for making their money, but you're still pieces of
There we go.
douchebag shit.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, we got the next one coming up. We have our girl, Bianca Belair, taking the win and getting her back
Match
against Becky
of the
Lynch.
night. It is still the
Awesome match.
This match would have fit in any wrestling promotion anywhere in the world at any point in time, because you know what it was? It was what the old school guys tried to make it. It was a fight.
Oh, God, yes.
With wrestling moves. This is what Jim Cornette always talks about. Wrestling has become a gymnastics display because you're not trying to simulate a fight, you're trying to do moves. These girls did some wrestling maneuvers, but they were throwing hands. Like, I mean, they legit did not like each other in this fight. And Allison enjoyed Becky's jiggling butt a little bit because that's what Allison was staring at the whole night.
Oh, I thought Becky was gorgeous with her
Becky looked
makeup
great.
and everything.
She looked great. Yeah.
Allison was more into Ronda's eyeshadow, but she thinks that Becky was a little too grungy. But
That's
I think
what I dig.
yeah, well,
there you go, yeah.
no, I understand that. But
Like,
anyway,
hell yeah.
But anyway,
Go,
this
girl.
match,
Oh, yeah.
this match was so good. I could watch that match 4 more times in a row and not get bored because I think it was like, is there a time on that match? Yeah,
1910.
That was so basically that was a 20-minute match that felt like they went 10 minutes.
Well, and Bianca had her entrance was phenomenal.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh yeah.
And by the way,
like that's what I've always loved about WrestleMania was seeing who
gets the best entrance.
was gonna come out the best way. Like,
yeah, which is funny because normally up until the last couple of years, Vince normally has the person with the big entrance lose, but Bianca got a great entrance. Great.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I had to watch Triple H come out like a badass just to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, to Motorhead, by the way. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Bianca, shout out to Texas Southern University, great marching band. They were fantastic.
Yeah, phenomenal.
They were on point the whole time. Those two dudes in the big hats that were doing the dance along with it, they were spot on. I mean, they were fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
But Bianca's a star.
Claire,
no doubt.
It does not matter if you're some dude who's still racist living in freaking the butt ass of Alabama. If you watch Bianca Belair and you're not entertained, there's no helping you at this point.
She's wonderful.
It does not matter what the color of her skin is. Her smile, it is infectious.
Her energy.
Everything about her, she's crisp. She's on point. She also is like the Steiners in the sense of she has a power game that when she's lifting up women versus guys, although, like I said, she lifted Otis with no issue. Go back and watch the clip, folks.
Oh, God, yes.
Once she had Otis positioned on her shoulders, she walked that 20 feet like it was nothing. It meant nothing to her to lift Otis.
Well, I just know, watching that match, seeing the end, the win, I was excited. I get a good pop for me. Clara's sitting right next to me. She jumps up. Yes! Bianca won.
Becky
She loved it.
Great. And by the way, folks, funny story. Remember, Allison's still new to wrestling. She's only about a year to 2 years into the wrestling business. Here's the deal. I said it. Allison confirmed it, and Allison was genuine when she said it. You forgot about SummerSlam. You didn't care anymore about Becky coming out and ending this first title reign of Bianca and squashing her in 26 seconds. You didn't care anymore because they gave you the 20-minute match you wanted at SummerSlam, but mind you, Becky had just come off 16 months of being pregnant and, not wrestling. She clearly wasn't ready, but the attitude's always still there. You can still talk. So, no. This is called long-term. And by the way, AEW, this is real long-term storytelling. This is how you do it. Because, folks, you think about from SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania, 9 months basically, Bianca was always still in your face. She worked her way up from the bottom. She beat everybody in her path. And Allison forgot about the WrestleMania hype and realized it was a WrestleMania moment.
Yep.
Because they're two different things. The hype is one thing. Did the moment live up to it? She forgot about the 26 seconds. She forgot about the fact that they basically took Bianca's first title reign and said, screw you, it's over in 26 seconds. This girl's a bigger star than you. Bianca Belair is officially now on the same level as Becky Lynch, star-wise. There's no question in my mind.
She accomplished. She was in the main event last year and won the SmackDown title.
Yeah.
She was one of the main events this WrestleMania the next year and won another belt.
Allison asked me to
awesome.
to try to be objective, and Allison's right. If you take out the significance of it was two black females in the main event of WrestleMania last year, if you take out the significance of the moment, this was a better match than Bianca versus Sasha. Nothing against Sasha. I love that match to this day. One of the best female matches you'll ever see. But this was better.
Yeah.
They had me from the word go because, again, they told a story.
Yes.
They
was a great
teased the
story.
26-second match from SummerSlam for about the first minute, and then they had this moment where Becky had to get through the onslaught of the emotion of Bianca, and Bianca then had to get and by the way, by the end of that match, they were throwing tomatoes and potatoes because they were tired. They had done so much to each other throughout that match. They were crisp, they were clean, couldn't find a botch in it to speak of.
No,
it was
I didn't
great.
see that.
I loved it. It was the match of the night, and what I feel bad is, even though the next moment was maybe the moment of the night, basically, folks, I guarantee you Becky walked back there, looked at her husband, and said, follow that, bitch.
Well, yes, and the next one was...
my God, what a match this was.
The next one...
Folks,
and
he is the man of that relationship.
Well, yes. That. But hey, no, on the show, we have a rule. It's Elle Steen.
Yes,
you need
definitely.
to watch the match. And if you hate it, that's on you.
That is true.
I can't give you a better wrestling match that I could take the videotape, show it to a 70-year-old guy who used to work in the territories and say, okay, forget about the gender, just forget about the race, just look at two competitors, and pound for pound, that match holds up in any era, in any territory.
All right, yep. Next.
Because, again, it was a fight with wrestling moves. That's what it was.
There we go.
They fucked with your emotions so well in that match.
Real slobber knocker.
Oh, it was great.
Oh,
loved it.
God, yeah, good old JR with the slobber knocker.
Yep. Yeah, it was great.
Next match, and this fucked with people too.
Oh, God.
Cody Rhodes,
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins came out
wearing some weird chainmail looking gear.
That I as I told that to the kids, I said, me and Zach were wondering what Seth would wear.
Well, this was the moment of the night for me because I'm like, what is Seth gonna wear?
And he was like,
he comes out in this giant. Allison said it best. He looked like fucking Gandalf.
Well,
he basically went full wizard.
Never thought of that. But yeah, it's like he goes, well, and Evan was like, well, he's kind of got a fur coat on, and then with some material hanging out. I'm like, yeah. And then the people that they had out
looking, but it wasn't chainmail.
But
because
then
chainmail would have been a lot to walk.
But his entrance is, people came out on either side, that choir, whatever it was.
It was a children's choir.
It was a children's choir? Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
and then they're singing part of his song. That was great. And then, as you said, how long? I said, it's going to take a few minutes. And what did I say? The lights were going to come off. The lights were going, and they did.
They toyed with you.
Oh, my God.
They gave it an entrance. And I want to tell you something. When I thought it was Bray for a second. They got me.
So did I.
When the lights went out, I'm like, it's the Fiend.
The lights went out, too. I'm like, oh, my God, the Fiend's come back. Nope.
And by the way, Cody's first words were a little muddled, so I thought it was Bray speaking before I realized what was being said, which was, and by the way, credit to WWE, that's Cody's AEW music. That whole entrance.
Was it really?
That's exactly what Cody used in AEW. All the way from him going, wrestling has more than one royal family, to the actual, that's Cody's AEW theme. It's the same theme that he used in AEW.
Good on him.
Yeah.
That's good. He brought it with him.
And Vince doesn't normally pay for music. Vince doesn't like paying for music. But here's the deal. This right now is a bit of a slight cross we have to talk about. For the first time, I saw a lot of people comment, a lot of people message me. For the first time, Leroy, I got a little vindication of everyone finally had to admit to me, okay, maybe there is some problems in AEW.
Oh.
Maybe backstage they do have some problems.
Not perfect?
Oh, that everybody else
Tony will tell you otherwise.
Tony, he's on smoking something, and
here's
he
the
thinks
deal. Here's the deal. Cody Rhodes.
Snorting
Cody
something,
Rhodes can leave WWE 6 years ago. After 2 years on the Indies, they call him back, and Jesse confirmed it, and we've confirmed the stories. And they offer you $2 to $3 million a year to come back after only 2 years. Who the fuck knows what Cody's making now? I don't know what Cody's making now, but here's the deal. Hey, hold on. Here's the deal.
He's making good money.
We talked yesterday about
Tony
and Maxwell Jacob Friedman had a heated discussion backstage, and everyone's like, oh, it's because he didn't go through their PR. Billy, quick question. One of your top stars goes on a podcast and says, yeah, if WWE offers me the right money, I'll leave in a heartbeat. Are you mad because you didn't clear it with PR? If you're the owner of the other company? No. Folks, this is how sports really works.
Oh, yeah.
The athlete's going to say something to the media, and the GM's going to get a little bit angry because they don't want that to get out. Tony Khan, just admit you're angry because he basically told you that if you don't offer the right amount of money, I'm going to flip you the bird and I'm going to go to your competition. Just admit it. Don't sit there and hide behind your PR bullshit. Oh, by the way, again, I'll say it till the cows come home. 150 plus wrestlers, all of them approve every interview that they do with your PR department. Bullshit.
Absolutely not.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah, no.
You were mad because Maxwell Jacob Friedman told you through another outlet of media, in 2 years when my contract's up, if you don't pay me, fuck you, I'm out of here.
And you know what? Our lovely guy, Vince Russo. Oh, Cody's not going to pop. That pop was huge.
People who were there said it shook the building.
God.
Which, by the way, will never happen in a Cowboys game.
No,
but
absolutely not. No. That's the only time that stadium was going to feel that.
Yeah, exactly. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders were more over at the start of WrestleMania than they ever are.
But you know what the interesting part about this is? That huge pop. Tony he's going to have to be shaking in his boots because MJF, I know, was watching that.
Oh,
he talks to Cody.
Maxwell,
Jacob
God. Freeman.
He is coming to WWE.
I said it.
I
said it.
It's a business.
I said it in
business.
a chat.
It will happen.
That moment just made Maxwell Jacob Freeman a whole lot of money.
Oh, it made him a whole lot of money.
Why.
And he's going to come. There's no way around it.
And here's why.
Yes.
Here's why. Jesse's done the whole history for us on this show.
Yeah.
Folks, go back and listen. It's on our show. The Bucks and Kenny leave ROH. Kenny is 1 week away from signing with WWE for 7 figures.
Yep.
Good contract for Kenny. He wasn't making that in Japan. You don't meet Tony Khan, and he doesn't buy, well, his daddy bought it. You don't get involved with All Elite Wrestling without Cody Rhodes. The guy who basically built AEW. The guy who 3 years ago, I think it's 3 years they've been on TV? 2-3 years they've been on TV? Yeah.
About that.
The guy who 2-3 years ago was last night at WrestleMania, he was in your very first match ever on network television. Back when you were on TNT, not TBS.
And it was a good match.
Him and Sammy had a great match. I had hope after that match.
Yeah.
And then I saw the Bucks, and I was like, well, this is done. Anyway, didn't last long.
And then this was a 21-minute, 40-second match.
They gave them time.
Oh, my.
Cody didn't. And by the way, for those of you on the internet who are saying this because it's funny, Billy, the Packers are not signing Aaron Rodgers to that money for him to be average.
Right.
Cody's not making that kind of money to come in and just get squashed. It's not happening.
Oh,
Vince
no.
is not paying. Although, as I told Allison, and this is the part people forget, Cody has information.
He has.
Cody
God,
Rhodes was not just a competitor. He was an EVP.
Mm-hmm.
He knows when every contract's up.
He knows all about that talent.
He knows what every talent has in terms of their little, hey, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. If Vince wants to call a former AEW guy and be like, I'll give you 6 months and we'll make a bunch of money, they'll do it.
Yeah, he's got every strength and weakness.
He's got everything.
Oh, yeah.
They're paying him for information.
And
but here's the deal. It doesn't matter if they're paying you for information.
Oh, yeah.
You're not getting paid that kind of money and then put on TV to just be jobbed out. It's not happening.
Right. And I remember
no.
I remember when he was at WWE before.
Yeah.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And then how he is now. He is
Vince McMahon is the
he is a lot better in that ring now.
Billy
than
said
he
it.
was.
It's business
Wow.
with Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
Oh, yeah.
Vince McMahon is the first guy to say, "Okay, you weren't something with me the first run, but now you've made yours. I'm paying you for what you are now, not what you were."
He is.
Cody Rhodes reinvented.
He looks great.
Give Cody credit. He reinvented himself.
Yeah, he
got
did.
A little delusional on the.
And he's not
with the
first,
tattoo.
nor is he going to be the last person to walk away and come back.
Well, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's.
If Vince will work with Hogan again, he'll work with anybody again. It doesn't matter.
And I did enjoy hearing Seth talking trash.
Oh, Seth
welcome
was
back,
talking
Cody. Boom, and his beat on
This is
him.
my house, bitch. This is my company.
Oh God, I loved
Seth
that.
played his
Oh
part
my God,
perfect.
And that only makes the matches more memorable.
Oh God.
The best spot that I had in that match
was when he did the Dusty punches.
When he was
the
doing that Dusty
elbow.
punches in the belt. I'm just like, oh God, that brought me back,
But
and
you
I
know
go, I
what's
love
funny?
you, Cody, man.
To
oh,
all
God,
you
I love
AEW
that.
fans who, Billy, I'm sorry, I said this last night. I have to say it now. You don't do this because you're a fan of football as much as you are a fan of the Packers. You know Zadarius Smith is not washed up. You're not one of these Packer fans that is like, well, okay.
You're not getting a whole lot for him. Like he was out that whole last season.
I
with a
agree.
bad back.
No. I agree. But the thing is that Packer fans, I've got proof that a bunch of you, when you signed him 2 years ago, thought he was the best pass rusher in the world, and now that he's going to Minnesota, you hate him.
He was for that 1 year.
Yeah, he was. But
I mean, you can't control injuries.
Right? Yeah,
shit
Yeah,
happens.
that's
exactly.
true.
But what I'm
That's so
saying
true.
is that AEW, you pushed him out.
Yeah.
You booed him out of every building. You cheered him, then you hated him, and you hated him because he did, oddly enough, what everyone does in WWE when they're a star. They go off and do other things.
Right. And do you expect him not to continue doing what he's been doing?
Tony
his whole
Khan,
life?
Tony Khan wouldn't give him Punk money. He took away the EVP role. Cody's gonna go sign for more money. It's not hard to see.
Did you watch his backstage interview? After?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I wanted to wait on that. But
it was good.
Yeah.
He made reference to where he was.
Yeah.
He goes, my last match, I was cheered and booed.
Yeah.
And now I come here and this is what I get. He made reference to it.
Okay. If anything, Za'Darius leaves Green Bay and goes to a place where, if nothing, Billy, he's going to be maybe more appreciated.
Yeah, because
obviously
Minnesota doesn't have the best linebacking crew.
Yeah, exactly. So you go where you're money is money. There's a lot of it, but appreciation matters.
It does.
Cody Rhodes goes out in front of 77,000 people, and he arguably got a bigger pop than he ever got in AEW.
Oh, God, yes.
And it wasn't even close. And by the way, AEW, you've never done that number. Even your show in New York, I don't think was that number. It was probably like 40, 50, some thousand.
But rumor has it he's going to be on Raw.
Which is
most likely,
which is fine for him right now. SmackDown's dominated by Roman right now. So
where are they having it? Like the Pepsi Center, whatever. Was this Pepsi Center?
It might be at the American Airlines Center where Stand and Deliver was.
Okay,
they're still in Dallas.
Yeah, that's where they're going to be tonight
after WrestleMania. Because here's the deal: WrestleMania brings people from all these countries, all these states. You're already in town. You're not just going to pick up and go to a completely separate town the next night. You're going to. Because a lot of people that get WrestleMania tickets, a lot of them will pay extra to get tickets to night 1, night 2, and then you get the Raw tickets.
Yeah.
So they're all there. These fans already know what's going to happen. With that reaction, Raw's going to have a huge number.
Oh, they're going to have a huge number.
Because Vince, unlike Tony, understands, I just had a huge debut at a pay-per-view. Oh, you're going to be on Raw the next night. People are going to tune in to make sure they see you.
They're going to make that state arena wherever they're going to explode.
Well, everybody wants to know what's going to happen next. Where's he going to go? What's he going to do?
And that's it. He is the guy that, and again, to AEW fans, don't say you hate him now when you were praising him 3 years ago. Like it's a little stupid of you to just in 3 years, oh, now he's trash. Send him away. No, he was the only guy trying to put real wrestling matches on your show. You just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But which is funny because Punk comes in, Bryan comes in, they're putting on the same matches Cody was putting on, but because they're new and because they hate WWE, which Bryan doesn't, but Punk does. But Punk's just a bitter old man now, basically, when you look at what he says about WWE.
Yeah.
But no, folks, all love to every wrestler who gets paid.
Oh, God, yes.
But they're paying Cody to not be in AEW. That's what they're paying him to do.
And as I said, he was good when he was here. He is 10 times better right now. Oh, my
He
God.
reinvented himself. Here's the deal. Even though everyone pretty much knew because of the internet.
Yeah.
Even though everyone had been watching, because here's the deal. We all watch Raw, we all watch SmackDown, we all watch Dynamite. Shut up that you don't.
Yeah.
Whether you watch it on repeat, you watch it. Shut up.
Yep.
Okay? There were a couple people last night in the PWL on the WrestleMania thread. You always tell us how you hate WWE, how you just it's not what it used to be. You hate it, you hate it, you hate it. You watch the whole friggin' show.
Well, yeah.
That's all they care about. Whether you like it or not, you watch the show. So, here's the deal. Cody Rhodes goes from being booed by 14,000 people and all the people on the internet, the 850,000 that watched Dynamite because he was never on Rampage.
And then he shows up in Dallas.
And then he shows up.
77,799
people lost their freaking mind. Okay? Yep. There's a 2.5-minute video on YouTube of just the entrance. That place erupted.
Yeah.
Even though they knew about it.
Yeah.
You don't think? And by the way, look at his aura. Look at his feels. He was into it. He in the back of his mind, even though he said out loud, I have all the respect for those guys. I wish them the best of luck. In the back of his head, he's like, that's what I wanted.
And he got it.
In Jacksonville.
But
he got it.
Here's the funny thing about Raw on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is he going to go against? AJ Styles. Edge.
He's probably
and depending on how the tag match goes tonight, Randy Orton could be put in that mix. Who is he going to be going against?
But see, here's the deal. Here's
it's
the deal.
So awesome.
Like Billy just said, We're all tuning in to find out.
Oh God, yes.
If Raw doesn't,
I have to wait until Tuesday, but I am there.
First of all, we all know Raw is going to do a better number than Dynamite.
Oh fuck,
that's not hard to do.
What
but
they hit
if
last
Raw
time.
doesn't hit 2 million, I'll be shocked.
They should 1.7, 1.8. I'm thinking.
Okay, so they're average now.
They're average. Is that what they've been average?
Oh yeah. No, Raw's up to like 1.7 now.
1.7. Oh, fuck.
I think they'll jump over 2 million.
They'll hit 2 million.
Oh, they'll hit it
definitely.
too. There's no doubt.
I'm sorry I haven't seen it the last couple times
it's
already.
all good,
They're
but
going to
here's
beat
the
SmackDown.
Back to my original point.
They might beat SmackDown this week.
Yeah, they might.
Depending on the main event.
Here's the
That'll
thing,
do
though.
it.
Here's the thing, though. You can't tell me, because again, this is what I've done this whole year. This is my New Year's resolution, the first one I've ever kept. Say things out loud.
Yeah.
If they make sense, then
I haven't stopped.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. If
they
they
call me
make
an
sense,
asshole because of that.
If they don't make sense when you say it out loud, it probably doesn't make sense.
That's true.
You're gonna tell me that the guy who arguably is the only reason why this company exists, the only reason this company is an alternative, a guy who was having private backroom meetings with the owner of the company. Well, Daddy's the real owner, but we all know that story. We're not going to talk about that anymore. But anyway, you want to tell me this guy leaving you isn't a big deal?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, who's going to fill the shoes?
Well, but that's just it. The fans
From any one of those standpoints.
The fans of AEW
Nobody.
are going to want you to think that AEW was doing great without Cody because they're all fans of the Bucks. They're all fans of Kenny. They love the Elite, which Cody was kind of a part of, but really not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Your world champion is Dickless Adam Page because he is not a world champion. Nothing against the guy. He's not presented as a world champion. He's presented like a bum half the time. He keeps working with the Dark Order, who are just a joke at this point.
Yep.
And yet, who's the world champion over here that Cody said he came back to do what his dad never did, which is win the title? Oh, right, it's Roman Reigns. The best goddamn thing in wrestling, bar none.
Yeah. Go for that, Brett. And I would.
It's not a big deal that this guy walked out.
I would love to see Cody win the heavyweight championship.
Oh, I think
I would too.
At that money, he's getting it at some point. At that
Oh
money.
yeah,
Are you kidding me right now?
He is
Vince
good.
is gonna pay you $4 million plus a year to just sit around and work with job guys. He ain't Tony Khan.
No,
Tony Khan will pay you $6 figures to basically just not work.
Him and Roman Reigns, that would be a phenomenal match.
My question is now,
my God.
what? See, this is the thing, and this is what I can't like. I want a time machine.
Okay.
What happens when MJF's contract is up?
I said it right here. I'll say it again.
Because in sports,
he's not staying.
Because in sports,
He's not
especially
staying.
nowadays, Billy, the way especially the NFL works, if you got a rookie and he's past his sophomore year and he was a first round guy, you got him for basically 5 years. But if he's going to Pro Bowls, winning this, you extend him as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
You're like, you're gonna play on this 5-year deal that's paying you nothing, but we're gonna sign you for 5 more years and you're gonna make like $20 million a year after that. That's what you're doing.
And you're also building that loyalty with that person.
So if you're Tony Khan, if you're stupid enough, because remember MJF signed early.
He's dumb.
He's not. MJF's not making Punk and Brian money. He's not even making Adam Cole money. Adam Cole lost to a hug. I'm not joking. He lost to a hug.
Yeah, he did. It's sad.
That's a real thing. He lost to a hug.
I mean, that's on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but that's my point, folks. MJF is going to break the wrestling bank because he's only going to be like 25 years old, 26 years old. If he goes to Vince, he sees guys who wrestle into their 40s. They slow down a little bit in the ring, but they still make a bunch of money. He could wrestle for 20 years for Vince and have a Hall of Fame career that you've never seen.
Yes.
Or he signs with Tony, which is just this car wreck of a promotion, and be like, I might only... Because remember, Darby Allin's said he might not wrestle past 30 because of all the stupid bumps he's done.
Yep.
And he's been paid peanuts for it. Hell, the Jackass guys have made more money than you have.
Oh, yeah. I still say...
MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is not stupid. Tony Khan, you got two options. You either A, you call up Max and you apologize for what you said to him during this heated discussion. and you look at him and you say this. This is your contract. Rip it up. Let's renegotiate right now. Let's get him at a favorable number because we all know how free agency works for people, Billy. Deshaun Watson just broke every bank in America. Who the hell's he banking with to put that kind of money away?
Yeah, considering he didn't play last year.
Exactly. So here's the
deal. He's got those allegations, and he's still making
$230 million guaranteed.
I don't think MJF will want to negotiate.
No.
After seeing that, I don't know if he'd want to.
I don't think he
I wouldn't want to at all. Hell no.
Billy said loyalty. Remember, MJF signing there first is almost like he was drafted there.
Right.
So the team that drafts you, you kind of always have a little better rapport with. Packers have done a great job in re-signing all the guys they've always drafted. Mm-hmm. They always have a great rapport. And those guys usually take discounts. You and I both agree Jordy Nelson was underpaid for a good 5-10 years.
For sure.
Yes, Jordy Nelson was underpaid in Jordy Nelson should be calling up the Packers and be like, you owe me ownership stake.
You owe me some back pay.
because Jordy Nelson was a $15 million receiver before there was $50 million receivers, and he was making $6 million.
Yeah.
But my point is this. Maxwell Jacob, for Tony, you got two options. Option A, you call up Max, and in good faith, you rip up his current deal. You bonus him now, because he's put on hell of matches for them. Punk with the dog collar match. He had great matches with Jericho. Well, Jericho wasn't good, but
MJF was good, yes.
Jericho and Juventud Guerrero in 2021, I want that out of my mind, because it's such a disgrace to what Juventud can do.
Well, you watched Roads to the Top,
I watched Roads to the Top,
enough.
So there's a lot of pain in there. Yeah. But anyway, here's the deal. Cody, you're delusional, but you got paid by Vince. I love you. Congratulations, because now maybe you won't be as delusionally stupid because you're no longer in whatever the environment is in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a horrible place for football and all the other things.
It's just a horrible place.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to Florida.
But anyway, so option A, you need to physically, in front of him, apologize and rip up his deal. You need to immediately, the next pay period, bonus him probably $100,000, if not more. And then you need to sit down and say, okay, if you want to re-sign right now, let's work out a deal. Let's get a number right now that you're happy with and I can work with. Because remember, quote, you, Tony, you have more money than Vince but couldn't match Kevin Owens $2 to $3 million a year. Interesting. Anyway, you got two options. You sign him now, and you work with whatever faith he might have in you right now. Or like Billy said, option 2, MJF's just going to look at you and put you the middle finger up and say, hey, man, in a year and a half, good luck in the bidding war.
Because
he's gonna go to the highest paid person.
After what I saw last night, that would totally be in my mindset.
Cody Rhodes, more so than not so much the Bucks, because the Bucks got all the indies paid. I give them credit for that.
Yeah.
But Cody Rhodes specifically may have just made Maxwell Jacob Friedman one of the biggest wrestling contracts of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, folks, Hogan wasn't making nowadays sport athlete money back then. He's making good money for back then. But Hogan wasn't making $20 million a year like Tyreek's going to make, Devontae's now making in Oakland or Las Vegas. But, folks, Maxwell Jacob Friedman might be $4 to $5 million a year in wrestling. That might go to $6 million if Tony comes back with a $4.5 million contract. Like, there's going to be a bidding war for you. And here's the deal.
And I don't see Vince losing that bidding war.
Well, and here's the thing.
No.
Vince will go to a higher number because Vince knows I can make more money off of you. Because he has the bigger conglomerate, Titan Towers thing. Because here's the deal.
The merchandise and everything that he can sell with them.
Kevin Owens making $3 million a year. Kevin Owens making $3 million a year. Vince is going to make $6 million off of Kevin Owens in 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
He knows that.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't got a problem with that. But I'm telling you, folks, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the best heel in wrestling in 20 years. He lives the gimmick. He is the gimmick. He might have to cut back on the whole fuck yous on Twitter that Vince may not like because it's a PG type company. I mean, he might have to pull back a bit on that. But hey, when my bank account says $250,000 every month, I ain't about to care what you're telling me to do on Twitter. I'll drop Twitter.
Right.
That's true. All right, after that banger of a match.
Can we just skip ahead to that bidding war? Because I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna have. Oh God.
I know.
Good luck, Tony, because Vince is gonna give him the moon.
Bend over, Tony, and take it like a man.
Yep.
We're not even gonna give you lube.
Nope.
All right, next match on the road for that is the SmackDown Championship, where Charlotte Flair wins out against Ronda Rousey.
It wasn't a bad match.
It wasn't a bad.
But it was stiff.
It was.
It was really, really stiff. And here's my issue with Ronda Rousey. And Billy, you've done some MMA stuff, and you know people that have done it, so you might understand this. Ronda Rousey needs to start getting through her head, you are a great athlete. You're a great fighter. I can't take that away from you, although I've said on the show many times, what the hell were you doing trying to stand up with Holly Holm? That's your fault. I don't. That was a bad strategy from the get-go. You were a fucking bronze medalist in judo and you decided to stand up with a 23-time kickboxing champion. Really great strategy there. But anyway, Ronda Rousey was the epitome of Dana White kept bringing her back, even though clearly she had been passed over because Amanda Nunes is light years ahead of what Ronda could ever become in fighting. But here's the deal. He brought you back because there's an aura about you that makes him money. But he knew you weren't going to be the champion anymore. You can't outfight these people. You are not going to be able to out-wrestle people, but you need to start understanding that in wrestling, it's simulated fighting and everyone knows it. You have to sell punches better. You have to sell the moves better. Ronda's as bad as the Bucks at this, and I hate to say that.
Yeah.
But Ronda has a bigger aura than the Bucks, national-wide. We all know that. But Ronda gets the physicality of it. Now you got to figure out how to sell the moves, honey.
Yep.
You just do. Because here's the deal. In
she
mixed
did
martial
some.
arts,
She did some
a
selling.
little bit, but in mixed martial arts, when someone
work.
hits you in the face, your immediate reaction needs to be get your head back, get your base back, get ready for the next move. In wrestling, someone hits you with a straight right, sell that bitch. Sell it.
Oh,
Exactly.
Even if it's for fucking 10 seconds, sell it till Charlotte comes back and grabs you again. But the problem with Ronda is she's a shoot fighter, and she's trying to shoot fight and wrestle at the same time. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Well,
Okay?
we'll see if she gets a rematch.
It was a good stiff match, but I think. But first of all, I know that I'm just a guy who's been in wrestling, working in it for the last few years, but it bothers me when you watch a women's match and one of the females is just constantly adjusting the gear. She's really got to stop doing that. I mean,
well, it's bothersome for anybody to do that because it takes your eyes off.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Going on.
I mean, Trish Stratus said it on the table for 3 with Alexa Bliss. Is that thing off?
Yeah, I
okay,
did not
good.
plug it back in,
Okay,
so
good.
we're good.
She said on the table for 3, one of the things that just ate at her was when she would have to adjust her gear. So she said, I don't care what I had to find. Duct tape, athletic tape, whatever. You tape that shit down.
Yep.
Ronda's game, physically, there's nothing more you can do with it. She's a shoot fighter. But you got to work on the entertainment aspect of this. You just have to. I'm sorry. Your hero is Roddy Piper. There was nobody better than Roddy Piper at Cell.
Oh, yes.
Roddy Piper's a god in this industry.
Well,
When you make your list of greatest people to never be world champion, Roddy Piper, end of list. Nobody was better than Roddy Piper and never won the world title. End of list. But
she knows Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler has
Shayna
converted,
gets it.
and so she needs to
Shayna
work with
gets
Shayna
this.
Moore and Natalia.
Yeah.
And to get her, and hopefully she will.
Now, Ronda,
does she get a rematch?
I don't know.
Do you think?
I don't know. Ronda, and again, nothing wrong with this. Ronda has really started to love 2 things in her life: her family and her Twitch channel.
Yep.
Which, by the way, she's really good at. By the way, I mean, like when you watch her streams, she's actually good at it. She's a really good combination of she is hosting, giving all those followers love, and concentrating on what she's doing. She's really good at that. I mean, it's actually not bad. I'm not saying she's like the people at Smosh level or like, these top Twitch stream people. I'm not saying she's in the top echelon, but she's good at it.
Yeah, she's good at what she does.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Ronda, I don't know if she gets a rematch because she really loves being a mom, and if she wants to be the family thing, then she's just part-time in this. So
I don't think she's going to get a rematch.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But here's the other thing, Ronda. I need to explain a couple things to Ronda because you said you were a fan, and I get that, and that's okay. But if you're a real fan, Ronda, if it's true that you walked out of the Hall of Fame when you found out you weren't the main event, Ronda, you ain't main eventing over Stone Cold Steve Austin in Texas.
No.
Is there anyone alive in wrestling? Is there anyone dead in wrestling who's going to main event over Stone Cold Steve Austin in Texas after almost 20 years away?
The only person that could would be The Undertaker.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
I don't even think he would, though.
Yeah, Ronda.
It'd be close.
Ronda, you're
It'd
not.
be very close.
You're not on Stone Cold's level because nobody's on Stone Cold's level.
No.
Ronda, I get it. They talked about, you're gonna get the main event because you won the Rumble and blah blah blah. Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming back after 19 years to WrestleMania, and everyone's being told he can physically do something, and you think you're main eventing over that?
Well, she was close.
She's in Texas, so clearly nothing's legal because they ban everything that's fun in Texas. But you drinking some good Texas whiskey, hon. If you think you're main eventing, she drank a few too many IPAs.
All right, there may
too many blows to the head.
No, what's wrong with the IPAs? They're fucking good.
I don't think it's IPA, but she drank too many of something. If she thinks that,
have you had Stone Cold's IPA yet?
No, I've always wanted to though.
Oh fuck,
him and The Rock's tequila.
You got any of the Stone Cold?
No, I did. Sorry, I drank.
You drank it all.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I'm sorry. It was good.
Do you want him to just leave them in the fridge?
No,
he did for a while. We were drinking them during shows.
Yeah, but I had to share.
But anyway,
sorry, I didn't have any more. I apologize.
Rhonda, I give you a B, but you got to work on the freaking little nuances of this isn't shoot fighting. Look, here's the deal.
But that's the thing, though. That's something she can work on, though.
I agree.
It's
I know,
not one of those intangibles that's just
right.
She's just missing.
Right, no, and I agree. But here's the deal. Y'all can't just be Conor McGregor, who was built for WWE from day one, who walks into shoot fighting and is the most entertaining motherfucker on the planet. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, y'all, but that's my only criticism is she focuses too much on trying to be a badass and not understanding that you're in a different world. Like, what you did got you here, but now you got to give yourself over to this a little bit more. Yep. It was still a good stiff match.
Oh, yeah.
Again, like I said, both women's matches on this night for me were exactly what they should have been. Brawls. They were fights. Becky and Bianca was a wrestling brawl, as in there was some theater to it. Charlotte and Ronda was just a straight beatdown, which
there we go.
Was good, but could have been a little better with the nuance.
That's kind of how it was the last one was,
And you got a free titty out of it.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I'll have to look that up.
It's on Twitter.
It's wonderful.
I'll have to look that
Allison
up.
found it and was very happy.
I'll have to ask her how I found it.
Twice.
Of course, Allison.
What do I have to look up to find that?
Charlotte Flair slip.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Oh.
Also, Allison's biggest pop of the
I'm not a huge fan. She's all right.
I mean, you're not really missing anything.
Well, I know.
Allison's
anytime there's an accidental slip in wrestling, though,
it's like, oh,
got to peep it.
Booby.
Allison's biggest pop of the night though was when Charlotte took off her robe, and my God, Charlotte's abs were popping that night.
Oh yeah,
Charlotte did some major band work before the match because Charlotte had veins pop. Charlotte looked ready to go. Like it was a good time.
Yeah, she's always been a great athlete. Like that, though. She's always been
And by the way, I
don't like what she's doing with her face though.
No, it's a little off.
Well, whatever.
All right, but I will say this:
she's part of her daddy. That's all right.
Yeah.
Man.
Before we get to the next match, this match to me, along with Becky's, is enough of the internet hate that WWE keeps shoving the 4 horsewomen down our throat. They're the 4 best women in wrestling right now.
Yep.
Hands down. Sorry to Britt Baker. Sorry to Nyla Rose. Sorry to all the women in AEW or even in MLW or Ring of Honor. They are the 4 best professional wrestling women alive today. You need to get up to their level if you want them gone. Sorry, that's just the way it goes.
That is
true. Now,
true.
yes, you have your outliers like Bliss and Bianca who will just get their own little niche. But you set them to the side. The mainstream of wrestling, people want to watch Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha. They do.
Yep.
Get over it.
Yeah. Don't like it, get better.
That's what.
End of story. Yeah. You want booking like them? Do what Bianca did and become as top tier as they are.
Damn right.
Like, end of story.
The same goes for the guys too. You don't like seeing Roman Reigns? Get better, beat him.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
better.
Gonna
be tough. Mm-hmm. Oh, fucking gonna be tough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the last thing of the night was start out as the KO show, bringing out Stone Cold, and he goes, I lied. I want to have a match with you. And all of a sudden, I love Stone Cold.
Kevin Owens.
Get a ref.
Kevin Owens.
Hell yeah.
Kevin Owens deserves an Oscar, and here's why. He is the biggest Stone Cold Steve Austin fan you'll ever find. The fact that he didn't fangirl is a miracle. He deserves an Oscar for not smiling at all.
Yes.
Realizing that.
I'm in the ring with Stone Cold.
And to quote Gene,
I would be fangirling so hard.
Steve looked awful based on what he used to be able to do.
Yeah.
He's 53 now. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
What it is. But nobody cared because we all knew that Kevin was living out a childhood fantasy.
Damn right.
Well, when Stone Cold was back, who wasn't back at being a child when he was there?
Oh hell,
Like you haven't seen him in 20 years.
He took real bumps.
He did.
He took a suplex on the concrete, which at 53 you're like, but it came out great.
I saw that, and when he hit, I'm like, oh, and I go, Kevin, you did a very good job helping protect him as much as possible there. Very good. But still hurt.
But just let me tell you, folks. Everybody keeps posting the picture of Kevin Owens with his head in the turnbuckle, and the caption says, only a few more months, and then you can go to All Elite. And then it was announced that he re-signed with WWE. This is why he re-signed with WWE.
Right. Oh.
That's worth the re-signing alone.
Oh, yeah.
You got a WrestleMania match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So here's the deal. The last two people that Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestle, Rock, Kevin Owens. End of list. I just...
Well, and Kevin Owens gets to brag that he was Stone Cold's last match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Folks.
He gets to live with that.
Folks, Kevin Owens had arguably his favorite wrestling moment of all time last night.
Oh, God, yes.
And Byron Saxton got a nice moment, too, because, folks, if you think that somebody wouldn't want to get in the ring, because remember, Xavier Woods, people said, what, they buried you with the Dudleys. He goes, I just took a 3D from Devon and Bubba. I'm living my fucking dream right now. So I'm like, folks.
Do you think I would, let's see, if I got in the ring with Stone Cold, he gave me a beer, and then he hit me in the gut and stunned me, would I care? No.
You'd have a smile on your face. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I would put that on my tombstone.
You
would
look like one of those people.
I got stunned by Stone Cold.
Hell yeah.
I'm dead.
You would look like one of those people from the Black Hole Sun video from Soundgarden. Just that your entire face would just be a smile.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to do it off camera, of course.
Of course.
You know. But no, my kids, when they're watching that, my little girl, does he drink that beer? Well, kinda.
Sorta.
I said, but
a little bit of it.
I said it's good beer. Really? I said, yeah, it's good beer.
Yeah, but
it was cool that he brought his because I was like, who the hell is he talking to the audience? And it was his brother that he brought up in the ring with him. I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
But you know what? People have to realize this moment was special for Kevin, for Byron, for everyone. It was special for Steve.
Yes.
Because if you ever watch Steve's documentary, he didn't want to leave.
No,
he left because he just couldn't physically do it anymore. Steve Austin was never happy with how it ended. That's why he stuck around for the GM role, the commissioner role. He just wanted to entertain people. And and he's said it 1,000 times on his podcast, he never wanted to go out like that. But with the way that nutrition has changed, with the way we've learned about how you can take a broken neck and bum knees and still put on a 20-minute wrestling match.
No, medicine over the last 19 years, leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Can
you imagine? He might have never had to retire if he'd broken his neck nowadays, because the technology and what we know about neck surgeries is way beyond what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is an emotional moment for him, because I think he's finally happy with how it ends.
Yeah, I think so too.
First of all, as we know in sports, we can't all be Ray. In sports, there's Ray Lewis going out on top, winning the Super Bowl, and then there's last night. Credit to Coach K. Clearly, your career was meant to be. You won 50 and lost 50 games to North Carolina. You were never meant to end with a championship. Not everyone gets the swan song.
Yeah, it's not all Cinderella stories.
I think Steve finally got it, though. It took.
Yeah.
It took
a while.
decades.
It took a while.
But I think Steve. I think he's happy now. I think he got to walk away from wrestling in the way he wanted, which, again, to say that he didn't want to put over Rock, no, he wanted to work with Rock. He wanted Rock to go over because Rock was the next guy to go over. We all knew that. But Steve got a moment that I guarantee you that if he's in the back of WrestleMania 19 years ago, I don't think you could have convinced him that he was going to get one more chance at that.
Yeah.
I just don't think you could have convinced Steve at that time that if you just wait two decades, you will get your moment.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and at that point, it would be kind of unfathomable because I'm 53. What are you, fucking nuts?
Yeah. Yeah, because like we said, nobody ever thought, love or hate him, Tom Brady, no one ever thought he was going to actually play to 45. Everyone thought that was a pipe dream, and now he's doing it, and he's technically doing it well.
He's arguably in the best shape of his life
at 45 years old, playing a sport that the average career is 2.5 years.
He looks better than he did when he was drafted.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
So I mean, when you think about it, modern medicine. I think Big E will be okay because of the way modern medicine is. Now, it's all going to depend on that C1, how it, heals, yada, yada. But not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the fact that with nutrition, with the way that massage has evolved, because, I mean, massage therapy in the last 5 years has evolved from we're going to get this knot out to we're going to make you feel like you're dying for 5 minutes. But when we're done, you're gonna feel like $1 million. Like I mean,
been there.
Well, you have to after every show we do.
Well, yes, I love my chiropractor so much when she fixes me.
But it's just this moment means so much to him, and I think it's worth mentioning that again. There was no way 20 years ago you were gonna look at him and say you'll get your moment.
All right. So, of all that first night, what do you give 4 to 5 stars? What do you think for the first night?
4.5.
4.5?
Actually, you know what? I'll go 4.75. And the only 2.5 that I'll take off was my over critique of Charlotte and Ronda. Because again, what was I expecting from Ronda? I pretty much got what I was expecting, but I over critiqued it. So I'll give it 4.75 because they killed last night.
I
absolutely phenomenal. Every match felt like WrestleMania.
It was 4. I give it a 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 sounds perfectly reasonable.
It was hot, but Zach, was it as that hot as we like to say?
Well, here at the show, we like to put a little more heat on things.
We do, yes.
Like we do with the Haitian Heat hot sauce. That's right, folks. We're talking about it. Al's not here, but we always talk about his sauce. We put this shit on everything. And remember, folks, it is all natural. It is everything you need. And if you are on a diet or if you're trying to get your nutrition better, this is a sauce specifically designed so that Al can have it while he's training for his fights. So when we talk about the modern updates in medicine, there's also updates in nutrition. It is all natural. Everything in there, every ingredient on the bottle is what's in it. There is no dyes. There is no specialty stuff.
It's good.
The 4 hottest peppers in the world are in the base sauce. It's hot, but it has flavor, and the heat dissipates very quickly, and you are left with the flavor. It's an absolutely phenomenal sauce. We love it. Leroy still has the original bottle he got. The sauce is just as good now as it was. Please go to Haitian Heat on Facebook to place your order, and you will not be disappointed, folks. And remember, the sauce doesn't really have an expiration date because it's just going to get hotter and more flavorful the longer you have it. It's absolutely fantastic. We love it.
Yes, it is.
Yep, we can't wait for you guys to have it and try it. And, of course, just because it is WrestleMania season, we also want to give you some love to make sure you go look up our boys at Dark Arts Entertainment.
Yes, we do, yes.
Dark Arts Entertainment, they're the live pro wrestling hybrid. We're not going to give you the full spiel today because it's 3 shows in 3 days, but it's WrestleMania weekend. We want to give them as much love as possible. Make sure you go down to Vegas and see some of the best pro wrestling you're going to find in that area. Great competition, great competitors. You're not going to see them everywhere, but, hey, look them up. It's great, fantastic.
And as I like to say, and they are 420 friendly.
They are. You can have yourself a nice smoke while you watch the show. It's a great time.
Hell yeah.
I knew Billy would like that.
I haven't smoked in I smoked twice in the last 75, 80 days.
And also, always make sure find their app.
Yep.
And you get the app store and get that. So
and
it's
also
really
make
good.
sure you go to darkartsvegas.com for more information on their shows. And but yeah, no, folks, it's WrestleMania season. I give that show all the love it could because here's the deal. I'm a music guy. I come from the world of metal. And one thing about metalheads, we'll always say, we sometimes get a little too elitist.
Yeah.
I'm willing to admit that. Bands change, musical styles change, and the best example is Metallica, who put out the Black Album, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, they're not what they were, but they just got a top 40 hit, and they sold the most records they've ever sold, and I can't blame them for that. But things change, stuff changes, but more importantly, as long as you give me what you promise, I can't judge you on a different scale.
Yes.
Like my prime example now was Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. Everyone was like, this doesn't sound like Nightmare. You guys made a bluesy hard rock record. Well, they told you that's what they were going to do. I can't be mad at them when they did exactly what they told me they were going to do.
There you go, yeah.
Now, if they told me they were going to make Nightmare all over again, and then they gave me the Hail to the King, okay, now I'm a little angry because it doesn't sound anything like Nightmare. But you didn't tell me it was going to sound like Nightmare. So, Vince gave me exactly what Vince promised me. He gave me an entertaining wrestling event. Was it as good as some of the Bash at the Beaches? Was it as good as some of the Super Brawls or some of the great pay-per-views you saw back in the Tennessee days? No.
Oh.
Was it a fucking amazing wrestling event coming out of WWE? You damn right it was.
And you know what? And we got another night of it.
And we got one more night of this shit. And we got another show tomorrow with Jesse. My voice will be shot by Tuesday. All right, but what do we got tonight, Leroy? Because this has, first of all, it has the potential to outdo night one, but it's got a hell of a bar. They set a hell of a bar last night.
They did.
What do we got tonight?
All right. Well, supposedly, and it'll work out, maybe it's a pre-show, but is the New Day, Xavier and Kofi are going to go against Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch and a tag team match, possibly started out.
Things get cut.
Work.
They have time constraints. They're only allowed a certain amount of time. And remember, this isn't the network anymore. On the network, they could go over time all they wanted because they own the damn thing.
Yep. So
this is Peacock. This is NBC. They're giving you a time slot. You got to hit the number because they got a show coming on after you. That's just the way it works.
I don't think this probably won't be probably a very long match.
No.
I don't think so.
I
just
think,
because of what they got going.
I think this will be a lot of get in, get the emotional Big E stuff out, and then go home.
It'll be a good startup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely a good startup. And then we have the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championship with Queen Zelina and Carmella, the champs, against Sasha Banks, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Natalya, and Shayna Baszler. And my son, Rhea Ripley is his favorite now. It was Alexa Bliss. Now he's a big fan of Rhea Ripley. And as he said...
How could you not be?
And he said, God, you're going to be in trouble when he's Thursday. I'm like, I'll be all right. His mom is going to freak out, but I'll be all right.
I just want to point something out. I went to NXT's 10th anniversary show in St. Paul. Rhea Ripley looked me dead in the eye and showed me what that tongue would do if it was so. Rhea, you have nothing but my love and absolute respect, and among other things.
Shit, after that, I'd be like, I need a smoke.
Oh,
I need a smoke.
This match, I think is going to be good. You've got Natalya, who can wrestle. You've got Shayna, who will just knock your teeth out because she's done it. You got
Rhea will do the same thing.
You got Carmella, who will be simped over by her husband Corey Graves.
They're getting married They're getting married next week.
Yeah,
I think something like that.
They're gonna lose. I don't know who's gonna win, but I like the teams involved. Sasha, I think, and Sasha and Naomi together are a very athletic team, very charismatic team. Liv may finally get her moment that she's been working to for a while. Rhea, like I said, do whatever you want with Rhea right now while the Four Horsewomen are still at the top, at their peak. Rhea's 26 years old. You can use her for 10 more years after this. She's already been a champion. She's proven how great she is. She'll be your star when the Four Horsewomen finally want to go have families.
There we go.
Relax, Rhea will be fine.
Well,
she's proven how good she is.
I think my first pick is Sasha and Naomi, but if they don't, I think it's going to be Rhea and Liv.
Whoever wins, I'm cool with, because any team that has the belts, I think they can all do something good with it. I mean,
definitely.
It's four dynamics that actually work.
Well, Rhea and Liv together,
yeah,
that is a very interesting combo with those two.
It is, because you got Liv, who has this sort of dark sort of mystique about her, and then Rhea is dark but fucking punches you in the face with it.
Well, Liv is kind of like leather and lace. Rhea's leather and chains.
There you go.
All sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Nothing wrong with it. But yeah, no. this match I think will be good. I think
it'll be a banger.
It's got the potential to be.
It'll be a banger.
Fun time. You got some great workers in there. And by the way, we haven't mentioned this yet on the show, but I think it's time to mention it now. We'll talk with Jesse about it more. By the way, another shot at AEW, kind of. Hey, Adam Cole.
There we go.
You left because you didn't want to cut your hair and you wanted to keep your Twitch channel. Well, according to WWE, Nick Khan has now officially announced that WWE will allow you to have third-party ventures. You just have to approve it through WWE. You can have a Twitch channel. You can do your thing. You can have an OnlyFans. Now, they probably won't allow nudity because they're a family company. But, hey, we said from the start, Selena was correct when she left because she wanted to keep her Twitch channel. She deserved to keep her Twitch channel. We were on her side the whole time. That was old curmudgeon-y Vince not understanding new ways of revenue, but they clearly gave in. They clearly said it's okay. Not a big deal anymore. Xavier has kept up, down, down. He'll probably... Again, the whole thing about people saying WWE was censoring up, down, down, you picked the moment after he got his G4 job and he became a more prominent figure on television. Like, that's the moment you chose to say, oh, they're not letting him do up, down, down. He got a job at G4. Like, that's a very time-consuming job.
Damn right, yeah.
And it's going to make him more money than his YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, folks...
So excuse him for doing that.
Yeah. Adam Cole, you left because you didn't want to cut your hair. You left for your Twitch channel. You left for your wife. We get that. More power to you on the love thing. No one's mad at you for that.
Yep.
But had you just given it another fucking 6 months, you could have kept the Twitch channel. Your hair would have grown back. Britt would have maybe left and come in 2 years. That's for Jesse and me tomorrow. But hey,
I'll have to tell him.
Congratulations on WWE. You're allowing them to do what they want. They can have these third-party ventures. Again, Vince didn't understand it. It took him some time to get it explained to him. Yes, they still have to get it approved, and everyone's like, well, now they have to get it approved.
They can still do it.
Hold on. MJF PR, not approved. AEW, you contradict yourselves.
There we go.
But anyway, congratulations on all the talent that will be able to get their third-party ventures going. WWE reportedly will get a cut of it a little bit, but hey, you're still making good money. Nothing wrong with it.
There we go.
And again, hey, if you make $5 million on Twitch and WWE takes half, I'd take $2.5 million right now. I'm not exactly saying no to that. So
I wouldn't.
The way that it works, folks.
Twist my arm more. Why don't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
Yeah,
and the other thing about it is that people also forget Xavier Woods linked WWE to up, down, down a long time ago. It has increased his viewership tenfold because they're always tweeting about it. They're posting about it. There's nothing wrong with attaching yourself to a big brand to get more views. You just have to know how to, because again, people, The Rock doesn't exactly shun away his days in WWE.
Oh yeah,
Rock still knows where he came from. So you just got to be more like Dwayne and realize there is a way to build on it. You just have to be good at it.
There
That's
you
all
go.
it is.
Exactly.
There we go.
So congratulations to Selena for essentially winning and getting everything she wants because they did bring her back. They did basically admit publicly that by bringing her back, they were wrong. She's on a WrestleMania card. She's not getting buried like everyone thought she would be. Sorry that your husband is doing some weird bootleg Undertaker shit in AEW. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's a little different.
Could be so much better. But I know they cut you, and you're doing your own thing. I'm happy for Alistair. I'm happy for Tommy.
He's having fun.
Tommy's the biggest gentleman in wrestling. But anyway, let's finish this up because we got a show to get to because they're about to start a pre-show here pretty much. Plus, I got to get dinner ready.
Yeah, I know. I get to make a phone call, get dinner ready. All right, we got Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Anything goes match. It'll be fun.
Sami Zayn is going to treat Johnny Knoxville like a lawn dart, and I think that Sami Zayn's going to take the pin because Sami Zayn put on his Twitter, and I quote, "Why do we live in a culture that if you're not in the main event, you're getting buried, and yet you're all talking about Sami Zayn?"
There we go.
So Sami Zayn is probably going to lose.
I mean, I would love to see Knoxville win.
I
just love him.
I think Sammy is a
Sammy's
gentleman that
lose,
can take the pin.
And then
I don't hate Sammy. I've always enjoyed him.
I love Sammy.
And good news, if he loses, I think because of how good Sami Zayn's been recently,
he
if
can
he loses,
twist that.
It gives him way more stuff to talk about than him winning.
Yes.
Sami Zayn could complain for 6 months off this, and it'll be great.
Like, he is the perfect opponent for Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have, and I'm going to love this one, Pat McAfee and Austin Theory.
Oh, God.
That's going to be fun. I love Pat.
Pat McAfee is...
Him on the table last night was awesome.
Pat McAfee is the... is the guy we didn't know we needed in professional wrestling 3 years
we
ago.
We do need him.
And now it's been the greatest.
I enjoy him so much.
Oh, God.
I love him.
And the best
Fridays.
part about it is everyone's like, Vince is threatening him on camera. Pat McAfee has a $250 million deal with FanDuel to do his podcast. And basically, from what I've noticed, all he's done is put FanDuel like in the corner behind where he sits. You want to pay me $250 million to put a fucking
Picture in the background?
Picture up? I'm down.
Shit, we got to find that.
Pat McAfee doesn't need this.
I will put
that
logo on everything if I can get paid that much.
Right on my forehead.
Yeah,
maybe.
They have made Pat the most sympathetic figure, but Pat's also so athletic he'll be able to pull this off. I can't wait for this match.
He was good when he was
against Adam Cole.
Adam Cole in NXT. The next one is we'll have a special thing about this one anyways because it is the Raw Tag Team Champion with RK Bro, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy with Otis.
Here's the deal.
It'll be fun.
Here's the deal. If you finally give it to Otis and Gable
again,
no. If they get this moment, it's like the Sami Zayn losing thing. It's the opposite. They will annoy the fuck out of you for 6 to 8 months because every time they come out.
We
know what they're going to say, but
and I will tune in for all of it.
Yes.
And there we go.
Because here's the deal. We know what their shtick will be. Shush, 4.0, a thank you. And we also won at WrestleMania. That is going to be the stupidest but most entertaining crap on Raw for the next 6 months. They could ride that to Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah, they could. Yes, they definitely could.
Because here's the deal. Otis is that quiet, as we talked about earlier, he's that quiet muscle that Chad hides behind, but Chad has such a slappable face that we are going to be so entertained by these two guys until Survivor. They could run this all the way to fucking New Year's if they wanted. That's how much a win for them would mean. Street Profits winning, it'd be a nice, cool winner at WrestleMania. Yeah. I think Randy and Riddle are losing because I think they're going to finally split this team.
Yeah, it's about time they could do it. Yes,
it feels that way.
If Randy is the one to turn, it'll be okay. We get it, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But if Riddle turns, Randy makes Riddle into a fucking megastar. Because you turned on Randy Orton.
The Riddle turn on Randy.
You turned on the guy that arguably, when his career is over. Forget how many world titles he won. He might be the GOAT because he's just that damn good.
Yeah, no, Riddle against the Viper, Riddle going heel, that'll be very interesting.
If they do it,
very interesting.
If they split either way, that'll be a SummerSlam match.
Yes.
You won't see that match happen on Raw. That'll be a SummerSlam thing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Because here's the deal. SummerSlam's only 3 months away. They could ride that momentum easily for 3 months.
God, really?
Because remember, Vince is the master of, I'm going to give you Riddle and Orton for 3 weeks, and then 1 week they just won't be on the show. You won't know why, but you'll be asking for it. Vince is the guy that, right when you're ready to be done hearing it every week, he just randomly drops it, but then brings it back. But he creates you wanting to see it.
Yeah.
That's... Unlike Tony, who just week after week is like, oh, what'd I do last week? Okay, can't do anything that I did last week. Has to be a completely different show. I had FTR finally wrestle. The world wants to see them wrestle. Okay, we're gonna put the best friends on again. That's Tony on the Adderall.
There we go. Yeah.
But anyway, no, this match, either way it goes, I think it'll be a fun moment. But Street Profits, in my opinion, as much as I love them, they're the least interesting result.
Yeah. I do agree with that.
Like I said. Your boy Otis and Gable, they could ride this momentum forever because they're that annoying. And Randy and Riddle splitting, that could get you to the biggest party of the summer match. That would be a great payoff. Because, again, Riddle's fantastic in the ring.
Oh, yes.
But, this will be fun to watch. This will be a lot of fun.
All right. And one of my second or third favorite matches of the night.
Okay.
Edge and AJ Styles.
Oh.
That...
I'm not even gonna preview this because if you're not hyped for this just because of the names, that's on you.
Yeah. Hopefully
next match.
Hopefully Eben will be able to watch this.
Yep. Next match because sorry folks, if I have to sell you this match, why are you watching? How are you a wrestling fan?
They don't know.
Have to sell
They're
you
not.
This match?
They're not. Next one is Bobby Lashley and Omos.
Thrown together last second, but But I'm happy that Bobby's going to get a moment considering how hurt he was.
Yeah.
Omos had a good debut at WrestleMania. I think that Bobby's a good guy for him to work with. There's power in both of them. Bobby's a good seller. I think, like I said, everyone's like, why is this happening? And all they had to do was ask for it the Monday before. But it'll be kind of a short, maybe squash-type match that'll be, good. And like I said, I'm just happy to see Bobby on the show because Bobby deserved, after the year he had, to be on the show.
You think Omos is going to get the squash? Or
I don't know. Here's the deal. Omos is this giant, and I don't think you kill his momentum yet. But if he gets squashed by Bobby, look at fucking Bobby Lashley.
I know.
Yeah,
he's a big
at
boy.
any given time, Bobby Lashley could squash someone, and you're going to look at him like Brock and be like, all right, I get it.
Yep. I feel like either one could be a win-win.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah. No. All right. And after that, the mother of all pay-per-view top event, mania cards.
It's booked as the greatest match of all time. I argue it might be.
Brock and Roman Reigns. This is
the best version of Brock I've ever seen, and this is the greatest Roman's may ever be. Because, like I said, there's nothing bigger in wrestling than Roman Reigns right now.
I can't stand Roman Reigns. I never could.
Yeah.
But he is the biggest star they have right now.
What I think is hilarious is, again, the whole world's been asking, Vince, you kept him face Y? This was possible?
Right,
Oh, God, yeah,
they all
I know.
play it so well. It's just perfect.
The dynamic of him and Paul, and here's the thing: the X factor in this match is Paul, because I know he turned on Brock, but Brock's a businessman. If he and Paul want to do business again, I still got Roman winning this because I don't think Brock's the guy to move forward because Brock is probably at the point where Brock normally gets, where all right, I've done the deed, I've gotten paid, I want to go home for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Roman's going to take
Roman's winning. And by the way, Jim Cornette had an interesting take on this. With Roman winning, I think it arguably helps WWE with one champion because now they can go to USA and Fox and they can be like, here's the biggest thing in the entire sport. You get him equal amounts time per year. Some weeks you won't have him. We'll make sure that show's special. But Roman being the guy of guys would make him even more annoying to the fans, which is exactly what you want.
Well, he did prove, and they did prove that he does not have to be on every Friday.
Yeah.
And it still goes.
Because, folks, he wasn't.
And he wasn't
on the Go Home show of SmackDown. And we'll get that rating tomorrow because I think they're still coming in with that rating.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, tomorrow we'll look up the SmackDown rating. And mind you, Brock and Roman both were not there. And it probably still did a really good number.
Oh, God, yeah. It was a great show.
This match, I'm serious. Think about the build-up. Think about the two guys. What match ever in the history of WrestleMania was bigger? I think Hogan and Andre might be the only option.
Yeah.
That I don't think you can come up with a better match between two top guys than this.
No. Hogan, Andre, the hype and everything from that.
Because there's not. Because
there's never been two
in modern wrestling.
There's never been two that big of people besides right now.
Yeah. In modern wrestling, where the veil is removed, we know it's at work. It's not a shoot. We get it. There's not two more believable guys in wrestling.
Yeah.
There isn't. Because Brock Lesnar is just an absolute freak. By the way, I got to get his seasoning because apparently it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Got to get his seasoning from Bearded Butchers. But no, Roman is a character that you legitimately hate. He thinks he's better than you, and he believes he's better than you, and you have. And by the way, people are starting to get tired of Roman. That's great because that just adds more hate to that fire, and they're gonna run with it. But Brock is Brock, and Roman is something we never thought he could be. Especially when you go back to that first time he spoke, especially with the not only the Looney Tune stutter he had, but then there was the moment in the Shield when like Seth and Dean were talking about evolution, and Roman literally comes in like a goddamn caveman and goes, "They are not brothers," and then he puts the freaking fist out like okay, so 5 words, got it. But no, this is the best version you will ever get. I don't even know how Roman Reigns loses the title. you could keep it on him for another year, and people may not get tired of it because this is so goddamn good.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. He's beaten everybody. Who is his next competitor? I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you this much. I could see Vince, because of what he's paying him and because of the hype, I could see Cody being the guy to take it off him, which wouldn't be a bad idea.
No, it would not be at all. Not at all.
Also, it would be a cool story.
Yeah, also Cody would immediately be a more believable champion than Adam Page or Kenny Omega ever would. But that's just me.
But rumor still is happening that they are still talking to The Rock for next year and WrestleMania.
Well, okay.
Because it's in LA.
Okay. If that's the case, then here's what you do. Take it off of Roman somehow, because I don't think Roman necessarily needs to be champ for another full year.
No.
He could somehow get it back, and then you bring Rock out. But by the way, folks, for those of you who are on the internet saying, oh, Rock doesn't want to do it, no, Rock wants to help the WWE. He always wants to do it. He's just a very busy fucking human being right now. Like,
yeah,
he literally films one movie, and then they announce 7 more that he's going to be in. So he's constantly doing something.
I could imagine having his lifestyle and just...
But hey,
maybe he likes
like
it,
we
so.
said before, do it all now because he's got, obviously he's got Simone who's in WWE training.
Yep.
Still hurt, but she's in WWE. But he's got the 2 young girls now with his new wife. While they're young, I think it's great for him to do this because then when they get older and they get into sports and they get into maybe wrestling and they want to do more things, he can be home more for that. Mm-hmm. Right now, he's literally on make as much money as I can now. Because Leroy, as a parent, and, Billy, you're obviously in this scenario now, too, with your new family situation. It's really fun to watch those milestones as they grow up.
Yeah.
But you have to ask yourself at some point, because you have to work hard to provide for them, do I want to be there when they're young and they're growing up and see those milestones, which nowadays can be recorded every 5 seconds, because Love Dawson and Michaela Seven's a beautiful young kid, but she's like every 5 minutes of her life is on Michaela's timeline, which is great. It's a cute kid, but it's all over the place. But anyway, or do you want to, quote, be there when they're discovering their passions, what they really want to do?
Yeah.
If the girls want to be in the movies, you're taking Rock's phone call. I don't care what studio you are in this world.
Right.
Yeah. If they want to go into wrestling, Vince or Hunter or Stephanie, whoever's in charge at that point, they'll take the phone call. There's no doubt about that. So I think Rock has chosen, and I'm not putting words in his mouth, I think he's chosen to do everything now, and then when they get older, I can be there for those moments because, the man could retire right now in his late 40s, 50s, and just never have to actually go to do anything for the rest of his goddamn life.
Right, he could just sit on a beach somewhere, just sip Mai Tais.
Because he fucking turns around and purchases the XFL for nothing because it was in bankruptcy court. And what does he do? He sells it to the NFL for a fucking, $1 billion and everything.
He's not dumb.
No.
He's a smart guy.
So I think Rock has made the tough choice of, I can still be there a little bit for the girls, but they're just used to me not being here. But I can be there when they're older and they're doing stuff because, Rock's always had a bit of a. I'm not saying it's an issue because obviously we all know everything went great with Rocky before he passed away. I think that, especially when you look at young Rock and how that's progressing.
Yeah.
I think that Rock wants to be there for those teenage years, which obviously Rocky Johnson was not because he was on the road. And Rock has built himself into the look. I don't think there's a bigger person on this planet than Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Give me Cristiano, Ronaldo, Mark Messi, whatever you want to give me. They're big soccer stars. Rock can literally go do anything, and don't tell me people aren't going to just accept the fact he's there. Like it's not.
He's going to turn heads everywhere.
Exactly. So that's my thing. Is just like I said. I think he's chosen to work hard now. Watch his girls reap the benefits of it when they have the opportunity to, and then we just move on from there. So, if they're, Rock in LA, I think is big because here's the deal. We all saw the Super Bowl. Half the celebrities were just there for photo ops. They weren't there to watch the game.
Right.
The Super Bowl was big because, go back and watch the tape. DiCaprio, Charlize Theron, they're in suites. They're talking with their friends.
It's in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but But at WrestleMania with the electricity that Dwayne has, I think you're going to get a very, very big moment.
I fully agree.
In my opinion. So
there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I look at it as if we're waiting on Rock for next year, that's great. But in my opinion, take advantage of the momentum with Cody. Have Cody take it off. Build Roman for another year. I think the best thing for Roman would be to not full bum-ass Corbin it, but be the sort of mob boss that is now his empire is crumbling around him.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
But kind of like the Batman idea of like Black Mask always kind of, he has moments where he's like the top mob boss and all this and that, but then Batman comes in and swoops in and destroys the whole thing. Cody becomes the hero of the day, but the mob boss gets it back, and then the true hero has to. I mean, it's basically going from Nightwing to Batman with going from Cody to,
there we go.
Rock.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I mean, no, in my opinion, if that's what you want to do, if you want to do Roman versus Rock, we all want it, but you got to make Roman you got, if you're going to do a full year, you got to do something different, because he's been doing this for 2 years and it's getting a little bit off. But I think 3 full years of this might be a bit too much. And that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, 3 full years of anything is going to be a bit much. So
Yeah. So
even if it's just a 2-month switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to add something to Roman's story that creates some doubt, because let's be honest, he ain't going to verbally joust Rock very well, because nobody does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be an interesting thing when they finally come together, because I don't think the way Roman's is right now, I don't see it being you can have a John Cena Rock where you just say, hey, the night after WrestleMania, we'll just fight in 364 days. I think Roman has to keep being dominant, but like you said, there has to be a different wrinkle. Even if it's for 2 months, Roman not having the belt,
right? Even
you can add something to the character, basically.
Yeah,
so.
Well,
definitely.
then it'll give him something to fight back for, like some kind of controversy or something.
Yeah.
Adversity or anything.
Something like that. Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't necessarily know what to do with it, but again, what do you do if Rock can go? Because you gotta make it big, and it's in LA.
There we go. Yeah, you do, definitely.
So
if that's the case,
it's that whole way too early prediction of going to WrestleMania.
Well, we have a year. It's April 1st and 2nd.
Well, it's the offseason
in LA,
for football,
so.
and everybody's talking about Super Bowl picks already,
US
so it's never too early.
And the USFL kicks off, which I think will be fine, because you've got some actual guys who know how to play football. Billy, it's interesting. We got you on here, football conversation. We had this with Stewie when he was first on. I think the original XFL really only fell apart because you didn't have good football. That was the problem.
Yeah.
And nowadays, with so many free agents, with so many guys who've done football for so long, you can have a separate league from the NFL. And although the NFL is still the top, the USFL can have decent football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could even do that with the Arena Football League. They just got to get the quality players in.
Hey, folks,
like, nobody just wants to watch
the fan control football league
where
Terrell Owens is going to play with Johnny Manziel, and the fans pick all the plays, and it's like on a 50-yard field, and it's like 5 guys on the. I don't know.
That seems like a clusterfuck.
It's good. Yeah, no, trust me.
That's what that is.
It's hard.
Totally.
To watch. But no, it's just football is something I would love to watch 12 months out of the year. So I think it's just going back to Vince losing the XFL in the first place. I think it was just Vince didn't have the quality football that the NFL had. He didn't necessarily, because remember, Vince wasn't like Trump, who took the original USFL and said, we're going to go directly against the NFL, and then he won the lawsuit for monopoly, which he was given a $3.50 check for, which he still hasn't cashed, because how embarrassing would that be? But
Definitely.
Here's the deal. USFL will succeed as long as there is quality football. And there's good coaching down there, too.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm seeing the coaching there, so.
So, and of course, when the XFL comes back, Rock's not...
They should totally bring back the nicknames, too.
Yeah. Rock's not...
That was fire.
And remember, Rock's not an idiot. his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, who he's working with, she's not stupid, very smart business owner. They are going to look at what Vince was doing originally with the second version of XFL, and they're going to say the only thing that killed it was COVID. That was it. Because they had people in the stands. They were doing 1.5 million ratings, for every game. So I truly think that when the XFL does finally come back, because Rock's already posted like 4 or 5 different teasers for it. He's got the team names and this and that. I think when it comes back, it's just going to be, well, let's just go back to this with maybe a new little wrinkle. And like we said earlier, selling to the NFL, it might finally be a thing where welcome to minor league football.
Yeah. Could
Draft
be something
picks.
like that.
And like you said, I would not mind having football year round.
No, and what I think will happen is if you're an NFL team, because we all know if you're a top 4 round pick, you're probably making the roster. That's kind of how that works.
Oh yeah.
Those guys will stay with the team. They'll develop. They'll work with them. The 5th, 6th round, 7th round picks, send them to the XFL.
Yeah, whatever undrafted rookie.
Get your tape out there.
Have your own XFL draft or
And what I think is so funny is we go to Cody last night. We go to this. We go to that. Remember, AEW only started because Shad Khan was mad that Vince was restarting the XFL, which never made any sense to me because Shad, you're in the NFL. Why would you worry about a league that's happening? This is where
the XFL is no threat to the NFL.
This is why.
Capacity.
This is why I don't think Shad Khan makes the best decisions, and I never understood him buying All Elite Wrestling. So let me get this straight, Vince. You're mad that Vince is starting the XFL. Vince had a successful XFL run, so Vince got football entertainment. You're buying something that you know literally nothing about. Of course, he barely knows anything about football because we've seen the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Trevor Lawrence. You really should have pulled an Eli Manning there. Also, rumors they want to trade him already. I'm like, he fucking been.
No, I mean, you draft a rookie quarterback. You got to give him some time to learn.
Yeah,
got to give a few years.
But that's just my thing is that the XFL will come back. It'll be a part of the wrestling thing, but Vince tried to do the original XFL the way he did wrestling. He brought in the entertainment side. What Vince figured out, just give him good football. Just give him half decent football. And trust me, football fans will watch. That's not a hard...
Oh, God, yeah.
That's not a hard thing to do. So
in a heartbeat.
And I would love to watch a different team play.
Yeah.
Something I know nothing about that I could dive in and learn.
So like I said, Rock is a busy man. He's got 10,000 things going on, but we always know he'll come back to wrestling, so there's no issue there. So
there we go.
If that is what we do next year at SoFi Stadium, what do you do with Roman? We don't know. Can't wait to talk about it. Billy will have you back sometime in the year after we see the results tonight. Hey, we're here every Sunday. I know you're off on weekends, so
every Sunday or one-ish.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it, and hopefully next time we'll have some baked goods.
Well, during football season we push to like 3:00, so because
so we can watch football.
We watch football,
right?
But anyway, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I had a blast.
Jesse did call. I want to be clear. He wanted to maybe try to call in for a little bit, but we were having a good time with that conversation. Jesse will be back tomorrow. We'll talk to him about it. But Leroy, anything you want to say about night 2? Because I think it's going to be. If it lives up to just the production and hype of night 1, I'm already excited.
I think it's just going to continue the fire.
I'm excited for it. I'm going to love it. There's some matches. I got to see when I'm going to put my kids to bed, so whatever I don't miss, that's they got school. If they didn't have school in the morning, they'd be up with me all night watching it.
Right.
Again,
yeah. And of course, every WrestleMania weekend, I'm off for 3 days. I'm getting paid for 2 of them. I get paid to watch WrestleMania. That's my life, and I enjoy every goddamn second of it.
Hell yeah, you can't get any better than that.
No, definitely not.
I love a company that just lets me use vacation time whenever the fuck I want. Anyway, so we appreciate you, Billy, again. Like I said, thank you. We will
we'll definitely have you on again. Yeah.
Mostly, we'll have you back just so you can poke fun at Jimmy that you were on here more than he was. So.
Well, it's going to be a nice sibling rivalry now.
There we go.
We can handle that.
We'll talk to Eric and you and Jimmy.
Might have to bring in a couple ladders, extra chairs.
Oh, we'll just talk to Eric and DPW3.
This table looks pretty thick. So.
No, we're not getting. No, I got a backyard right now,
we got
and
a backyard over there. But we'll get you guys on DPW3. You know, Lamoureux versus
there you
Lamoureux.
go. Yeah,
I like this. Anyway, so once again, folks, please look for us on YouTube, Spotify, Podomatic.com, iHeartRadio. Are we on Amazon Music yet?
I think so.
Okay, so we're
just search for us.
Yep.
Do a general search for 13 cards, subject change, and you will find everything about us.
2 shows in the bag. We got one more tomorrow, and we got a hell of a banger show tonight. And we love you all so much, and we will talk to you all soon. Thank you very much.